All right, welcome back, True Seeker. It is Sunday, November 27th, 2022. 80 years ago on this day, Jimi Hendrix was born. He'd probably still be alive if he didn't join the 27 Club on the 18th of September back in 1970 in the United Kingdom. And in light of him dying at age 70 in the United Kingdom, remember, we just had Queen Elizabeth die after her 70-year reign. And you might recall during the time of the pandemic, Boris Johnson, he announced the new, more infectious COVID-19 strain at the time, which was the UK strain, which was 70% more infectious before it was downgraded to being 56% more infectious. And not only did Jimi Hendrix die in 1970, but he also died 70 days after his birthday. And again, the theme with 70 in the United Kingdom is understood when you understand the simple practice of coding numbers into words, which again comes from Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, the practice known as Gematria. In that code, the phrase United Kingdom equals 70, and so does the word music. And of course, Jimi Hendrix, his music still lives on. You know, it's sad listening to the radio station. So often, if you listen to the radio station, you'll just realize, like, man, that artist is dead. Man, that artist is dead. They wouldn't even be that old right now. They're dead too. Just amazing how many celebrities die so prematurely. But Jimi Hendrix, dead in 70 days. Or excuse me, I should say he died 70 days before his birthday. And again, in Gematria, United Kingdom equals 70. We've been talking about this pattern for a long time. And again, in recent years, the UK strain, 70% more infectious, and now the Queen, after her 70-year reign, just the latest examples of that number connected to the land that we call the United Kingdom. So R.I.P. to Jimi Hendrix, would have turned 80 years old on this day. And want to send a shout out to Ali at NetVoid. She did a live stream this morning talking about Jimi Hendrix and how it would have been his 80th birthday. If you guys are not following Allison, she also goes by Ali at NetVoid. She's the young woman who came out and pounded payment with me in Seattle. I think it was 2 years ago now. I think it was July 21st, 2020 was the day she flew out to Seattle. And the mistake of that event, it was the only time I pounded payment in Seattle where nobody showed up, and it's because we did it in the middle of the week. We tried to do it on the symbolic anniversary of the Jesuits being suppressed. The problem was it was the middle of the week, and we didn't have a turnout because it was the middle of the week. It was also my birthday. But Allie did come out, so Allie pounded payment with us that day, and she's been contributing to the community ever since. And if you missed her live stream this morning, she's trying to get people to put out the idea of when we should have the next big Truth Seeker gathering. And she's thinking this time, or in 2023 in the summer and the warmer months. I think that's a great idea. I was trying to look for a big anniversary date that would fit with the summer. And I was looking, the 4th of July falls on a Tuesday this coming year. So Saturday and Sunday before it are July 1st and July 2nd. September 11th this year falls on a Monday. So September 9th and 10th are Saturday and Sunday. But if anybody has the ideal date where perhaps we could plan long in advance and get a whole bunch of people to come out and gather and try to raise awareness in the community and do it bigger than it's ever been done before, please let us know. I will be taking calls later in this stream, so if you got an idea for this summer and getting people together, do phone in. It will be that number on the screen. Haven't opened the line yet. I'll let you know when it's open. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed to Allie, she's another person in the community that deserves more subs. There's so many people in this community who are doing good work, and it would be nice to see more people following their channels. Even if you don't have time to follow more channels, giving them a like and a sub anyway, just finding a few seconds to do that. Because the way the YouTube algorithm works, you guys, is when a channel has more subs, it allows that channel to show up in more people's feed. So it's just such an easy thing to do to help out the people in the community. Just sub to their channel. You know what? You don't even ever have to watch it again if you don't want to, but just give them a sub. because they're doing the good work. And NetVoid is one of those channels that is very deserving. And again, I mean, if you guys have never watched her channel, she's a young, sweet lady. You know, doesn't have a bad thing to say about anybody. She's bringing music to the channel, and truly nothing but positive vibrations on her channel. So that's Ali at NetVoid. And she also has built a website. If you guys don't like Derek's new website, if you don't like my calculator on my website, again, a lot of people are confused. GematriaEffectNews.com is Derek's website. He built that site at, it was either the end of 2016 or the beginning of 2017. But Derek built that website. It's not mine. GematriaEffect.news is my website. And again, on my website, there is a calculator. And then on the page, there's also free calculators to download for smartphones, whether it's Android or Apple. It's for both platforms. And Ali has now also built her own Gematria calculator website. There was a website called Gematro. It got taken down. She made a clone of that website. It's at Cyphers, spelled with a Y, CYPHERS.news, Cyphers.news. And it works with that typical functionality that you're used to. You know, you type in the word and it gives you the 4-base ciphers. Everyone's kind of adopted that model just because, you know, it's tried and true and logical and intuitive. And that's the way I've been teaching the knowledge since the beginning of 2017. And for people who don't know, before my first book came out, Letters and Numbers, I was almost done writing that book. And then we discovered reverse gematria at the end of 2016. And I realized, like, this reverse gematria is super important. You know, just to make the point about reverse gematria. You know, at the end of 2016 is, again, when I realized that running the alphabetic order in reverse is the other half of the code. But notice how United Kingdom has that 70 in reverse with numerology. I mean, they've done so many rituals with that number. Look how coronavirus, you guys, is 56 forward, 70 in reverse. Remember, the UK strain, first it's 70% more infectious, then it's downgraded to 56% more infectious. And we've seen a million rituals with those numbers in regards to the pandemic. And again, it's funny just even saying something like that instantly disqualifies your video from monetization on YouTube. It's like, what kind of guidelines are these? You know, you can have a 13-year-old running around in a G-string and that's monetizable, but point out that coronavirus equals 56 and 70 and oh my God, you violated the terms of service. Your video cannot be monetized. Anyway, also in the news, let's talk about the death of the singer of Flashdance, What a Feeling. Song probably everybody's heard before, and if you don't recognize the title, if you put on that song, you'll be like, oh yeah, I definitely heard this one on the radio. She won a Grammy for it. 38 years before her death. We've seen this pattern so many times. People dying 38 years after their award ceremony honoring, and she becomes the latest. We'll talk about why she died on the 25th, as also the singer of Fame, who starred in the movie as Coco. But, you know, another tragic premature death with an unknown cause of death. Also, something I missed before Brady's big win in Germany a couple weeks back is before that game, the father of Devin White, who recently graduated from LSU. Don't forget, we were down at LSU at the start of 2020, educating the students there about gematria, and the students really took to it. Got to talk to some of the players from that football team that had recently won the championship. And it was interesting because some football players stopped and talked to us, and you could see in their eyes they were very sincere about learning the information. And I explained while I was there, I said, listen, I don't want to read about you and your premature obituary next. And some players, just, brushed us off and did one of these and like, yeah, whatever, get out of here. And it just made me wonder, I'm like, some of these players know about this stuff and they just don't want to be confronted. And like, why are some, and I guess it could be a bunch of things, just like how some people are open to information and others aren't. But anyhow, one of these LSU players, now in the NFL, top draft pick, his dad dropped dead at age 45 before the Germany game. And, of course, he wears 45 in the league, and his father's name's 45, and, of course, Tom Brady's 45 right now. And again, just that pattern of 38. His father died November 10th, exactly 38 weeks after his son's birthday. And you know, probably the lesson that I've given the most in all the years of teaching this is about 38 and death. And, you know, from her being dead 38 years after winning her Grammy to his father being dead for unknown reasons. They're both dead for unknown reasons, by the way. Dead for unknown reasons, dead for unknown reasons. Both just dropped dead unexpectedly. But again, it's that number over and over. And, you know, as time goes on, it just gets like more depressing inside, internally giving the presentation on this kind of information. Because it's just like, how doesn't everybody know at this point? Like, how isn't this the most popular topic in the world? Celebrity. I mean, everybody's so obsessed with celebrity. So I feel like everyone should know about all these suspicious celebrity deaths in the number 38. And maybe when Jonathan finishes his book, 38 Special, maybe it'll put it on the map like it's never been on the map before. So looking forward to that day coming. Also in the news, again, Friday I planned to go live, you guys, but Friday I had an organic Gematria story that was unpleasant. Friday was the 25th. The word sewer equals 25, and somehow the city sewer line got blocked with a bunch of rocks. That's what the city ended up telling me, which caused the sewer line to back up and start to come up like into our bathtubs and shower. It was pretty gross. It's like, wow. New house, and we already got the sewer up in the house. So that made Friday a real headache for me, taking care of the sewer mess. And yeah, anyway, interesting life experience. But Friday, of course, was Black Friday. And recall last year on Black Friday what the news was for us. You know, some more low vibration news. But last year on Black Friday, it was the first COVID variant from Africa, the predominantly black continent. And this year on Black Friday, on this retailer holiday, arguably the biggest retailer in America, Walmart, who might have been surpassed by Amazon, but these are the two biggest retailers in the nation. This year it's the Black Walmart Employee Store Shooters Manifesto being released. And of course we covered the Walmart Chesapeake shooting by the numbers, but then they waited for the manifesto for Black Friday, and then they pointed out that in it he used the phrasing that he felt that he was led by Satan. And you see how Fox News was nice enough to emphasize the phrase led by? You see how led by has that gematria of 87? Remember, we were talking about this a year to the day earlier. How Omicron had the 87, and Omicron was a big number of the beast ritual. Again, there was all this 666 with it. It was, Omicron was 666 days after the World Health Organization declared a public emergency. Not when they declared the pandemic on March 11th, but I forget exactly what day off the top of my head it was that they declared the public emergency. It was like January, it was January something. But from the day they declared the public emergency for COVID to Omicron was 666 days. And if I'm not mistaken, that was also the same day that the United Kingdom got their first case of COVID, which meant it was 666 days from that. But Omicron had that 87, like number of the beast, like Bill Gates, who's kind of the ringleader of this, who supposedly got his COVID vaccine on the 87th day of his age, which is the anniversary of Roe vs. Wade, which his dad was big with. And then, of course, when he got divorced from Melinda, it was also 87 days from his 66th birthday. And again, number of the beast is 66 forward to 87 in reverse. But yeah, again, just 2 years in a row, just coding 87, right? On Black Friday. And the thing about Black Friday is Black Friday has that gematria 47, just like beast does. So you got to say, what are the odds? And Fox News, in their other headline about it, emphasized the word betrayed. Just notice the gematria betrayed is like nearly identical to the gematria Baphomet. If you're new here, the base ciphers: alphabetic order with the rules numerology, reverse alphabetic order with the rules numerology, intuitive. But betrayed and Baphomet, nearly the same in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. And of course, when you run it in verse, Satan and Baphomet, and Betrayed all have that 80-35 overlap. And, of course, the Baphomet is the symbol for the Church of Satan. So, but yeah, black mass shooter, not all that common, on Black Friday at the nation's retailer. And, oh, by the way, with regards to the whole Beast thing, remember, Beast is 47, Black Friday is 47, Walmart is 47, and Andre Bing is 47. And notice how Walmart is also 25, like how it was the 25th when they released the manifesto. Also, just for when I initially covered the shooting, I said the only thing this shooting's missing is the typical 44, because they code 44 in nearly every mass shooting. Well, they started really emphasizing how the mass shooting happened in the break room the next day. And notice the Gematria break room, 44 just like shooting, right? So they ended up coding it, you know. I said, well, the only thing missing from this one's the 44, which is pretty rare, but they ended up putting it in anyway. So that's why they had to sneak in that it happened in the break room. And of course, the first employee to break the news winked at the camera after he got done telling his story. It's like, can you imagine that? Can you imagine explaining how your coworkers were just killed? And he didn't seem to be emotionally disturbed about it at all, you know. It's like he must have hated everybody who worked there. But then when he gets done telling the story, he gives the camera a nice wink. It's like, oh yeah, nothing says legit like a little camera wink. So, Kanye West, apparently he brought the college dropout, Nick Fuentes, to Mar-a-Lago. And as we know, whenever there's news at Mar-a-Lago, it's always by the numbers. And what's funny is they said that Nick Fuentes, who's, you know, Catholic, they said that he attended this dinner with Kanye West and Trump on November 22nd. Well, that's the anniversary of the assassination of the first Catholic president at age 46. And would you believe the gematria of Nick Fuentes? It's been a few years since I talked about Nick Fuentes. He was getting quite a bit of media attention for being, you know, a little rabble-rouser. I mean, if you're not familiar with who Nick Fuentes is, he was on YouTube for a while, and, you know, a few years ago, he was getting the attention in the media, and before he got banned from YouTube, if you went on his live streams, you know, he was notorious for, like, setting his live stream for a certain time and then not starting it for, like, an hour, hour and a half. And what I would notice about his live streams is while he has his audience waiting, he'd rack up, like, thousands of dollars in super chats. I'd be like, what, do people just love being on hold? And then this little pimple face shit comes on here and just starts talking all kinds of bullshit, and he's just all sucked it. I mean, who's listening to a 19-year-old talk about politics? God. So I was like, there's something up with this character, and then all of a sudden the mainstream's covering him, and you can just see he's just another divisive character agent they've put out there. That's why any of these channels that just rack up like $1 million in super chats when they're streaming or when they're making everybody wait around for 90 minutes, it's not real. It's some kind of, you know, there's just no way. There's no way. Because we see the people who actually do good work in the community, almost nobody, you know, supports them. So I don't know why somebody would support some little 19-year-old. Like, literally, when I say he's like pimple face shit, I mean, that's what he is. You know, he's pretty smart for the average 19-year-old. I got to give him credit where it's due. But he's all into politics, and he's all into he's like a little white supremacist Catholic Nazi, you know, which is what the Nazis were, backed by the Catholic Church. And now he's at Trump's house, Mar-a-Lago, the man who supposedly carries around Mein Kampf. And the funny thing about how they make it seem like Trump is some kind of like anti-Semite closet Nazi. I mean, he's also Mr. Everybody, all of my children are married to Jewish people. I'm in Jerusalem for Jerusalem Day. I'm on an Israeli shekel. It's like this. You cannot say that this guy's a Nazi. I mean, there's no Israeli shekels with Adolf Hitler's face on it, but there is the commemorative coin raising money for the eventual Third Temple with Trump's face on it. So anyway, Nick Fuentes is known for being the college dropout. Kanye West is known for his first album being The College Dropouts. And, you know, now he brings him to Trump's house on the JFK assassination anniversary. And again, Nick Fuentes is 46, so is Catholic. Catholic's 35 forwards, 46 in reverse. JFK, number 35, the first Catholic president, killed at age 46. Joe Biden, the second Catholic president, number 46, elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age. Don't forget there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than Protestant Old Testament. There's 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. And again, when I was just on the live stream with the group of trolls who claim to be Christian, it's amazing how many fake Christians there are on YouTube. And I know the reason they claim to be Christians is because the thing is, you guys, if you promote yourself as Christians, you'll do a lot better in the donation department. There's some psychological component to that because, you know, even though I'm not a fan of religion, there is something to say about the generosity of Christians, and I think it's because part of their upbringing is to be generous and help others and put money in the plate on Sunday. So I see that gimmick with a lot of fake Christians on YouTube. Russian vids, clearly a fake Christian. A call for an uprising, clearly a fake Christian. The group of goons I'm talking about, I don't know how they could possibly be Christians at all. All of these people, other than claiming to be Christian, don't embody any Christian values. And again, say what you will about me, I don't even claim to be Christian, but I know that I'm a lot more Christian than all these people I'm talking about. I do good for others. I live a life of service. You know, I don't hide behind a camera screen like a coward and go under some false alias. And then you'll see a lot of the dumb Christians. I mean, there are a lot of dumb Christians online too will make videos that, oh, Zach's using a false identity. It's like, no, I'm not. Always been my name. Zachary Hubbard, always been the full name. Zachary Keith Hubbard. It's on my birth certificate. It's always been the name. Again, too many people are just like too conspiracy theory about everything. They have to invent a conspiracy theory about everything, including people like me who've always put their real face and real name out there. And anyone can verify that I'm a real person. Look at the troll who makes videos about me every day. How he digs up all my public information. How else would he be able to dig up my public information if he wasn't looking up what my actual name is? Anyway, I was just saying I was on the panel with the Christians and I was showing them that about 35 or the supposed Christians, about 35 and 46 and 145 in the Catholic Bible, and their responses were things like, well, I mean, you can do that with numbers. You can just find any pattern and just like connect things. It's just like, God, I mean, again, to me, when I start hearing them, I'm like, well, that's probably why they're religious too, because it's low intellect, it's low common sense. It's why they believe a nonsensical story in a book made by man and can't compute that's totally improbable that there would be 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament and 145 more chapters and it'd be encoded in the language, especially when the language is credited to a Catholic monk, or at least the oldest known script is, and you know, the 16th century and the Jesuits who served the Catholic Church and how all those things happened around the same time, including the standardization of the language, the Bible verses, the calendar named after a Catholic pope, all of this stuff synced up day after day. You know, let's not forget what day the nation of Israel was created on 14/5 in the huge Catholic ritual with David Ben-Gurion, you know. Again, the Catholic Church has an interest in promoting the synagogue of Satan. It's part of the Christian prophecy. The false Jews, you know. Okay, so anyway, Nick Fuentes, Mr. 46, and here's the thing. He was there for that dinner on the anniversary of JFK, according to the news. And then the news about this broke on November 25th, which was 3 days later, Friday. That's when it became the big news story, Friday, November 25th. Nick Fuentes, the Holocaust denier, white supremacist, was with Trump and Kanye West, the anti-Semite. They were with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. You know, this news everywhere. I turned on Meet the Press this morning. They were talking about the same thing. God, and did anyone see Meet the Press this morning? If you missed Meet the Press this morning, watch the segment with Anthony Fauci. It is unbelievable. Well, at the same time, it's totally believable, but everything that we did, our nation and our government, they projected onto China about not being honest with their people about COVID. You know, they even kind of dropped like, do you think COVID in China's to get rid of some of their overpopulation of the elderly? I was like, wow. 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 Do you think that's what China did? Think that's what the U.S. did? Those baby boomers are expensive. I was just like, God, this stuff is just sick, man. It's sad that people watch this and can't put two and two together. Anyway, Nick Fuentes, it was 99 days after his birthday, and just notice his surname has that Gematria at 99. For the record, so does Illinois, where he comes from. For the record, the United States of America is 99, which was kind of born out of white supremacy. But, and don't forget the United States of America was named on September 9th, 99. But yeah, just, Fuentes back in the news by the numbers. It's been a few years since I've seen him in the headlines, but he was getting a lot of attention years ago. And anyway, just like back then I suspected that he was some kind of agent puppet, like little kid that was being groomed for his little divisive role, and it looks like that's exactly what it is. So, okay. The last time Nick Fuentes was getting attention was when Sacha Baron Cohen, I remember they were at the same time, these two things going on. Sacha Baron Cohen did a speech for the ADL saying that big tech really needed to crack down on anti-Semites. And I thought, how funny to have Sacha Baron Cohen go make this speech. A guy who's made a living off literally talking shit about everybody, making fun of kind of like every race. His Ali G character, his Bruno character, his Borat character. But yeah, with the ADL, it's a one-way street. It's okay, according to the ADL, to talk shit about every group of people except for the group they represent, which is just so fair and balanced. Anyway, also in the news, in about the decade I've been here, I don't remember there ever being a mass shooting top headline for Brazil until just the other day. And this was on Black Friday. And again, just think about it, a mass shooting in Brazil as a top headline in America. What's going on right now in the world that you would associate with Brazil? Brazil's like the top football country in terms of international football. The World Cup's going on. Brazil has a big mass shooting. Again, this is something I'm talking about with news and sports and theming and obvious rituals. And I got to be honest, I didn't even look into it all that much, but I did notice that the name of the place where the shooting happened, the Primo Biti School, has Gematria 139 like gun control. And again, we just see that number encoded in mass shootings over and over. And consider this is, in American news. D-Combi's talking about the 181 on the emergency responder vehicle, the 42nd Prime. It was one day after Brazil won their first match. Script Unveiled, who does the really great work, who's come on the Sunday show a bunch to talk football rituals. This will be the last World Cup in which 64 matches will be played. 311's the 64th Prime, going with the 3 dead, 11 injured. It's been 64 years since Brazil won the World Cup. So, their 2022 World Cup campaign starts on the 64th day of Captain Thiago Silva's age. They start off the World Cup a span of 64 days before the anniversary of Coach Tite's first match. Jesuitism has the Gematria 64. Neymar Jr., their star player, 64. FIFA World Cup 64. Talk about nailing it. So Script Unveiled, he's the number one football decoder in the world right now, and it's because he's doing stuff like that every day. So, great research, Script Unveiled. But yeah, I mean, it's just so painfully obvious. It's just like just being treated like you're dumb every day. A national emergency in America on 911. A Brazil mass shooting is a top headline in the time of the World Cup. Like, since when? Since when? And I mean, you would think Brazil, this football-loving nation, you'd think probably not the time that they're going to have a mass shooting. My guess is, everybody's like more, having more conversations into the football, Not the time to go shoot up the school. And then coincidentally, the school just happens to have the same gematria as gun control that we see over and over in these rituals. So, of course, Brazil is the favorite to win the World Cup. So if they do win, don't forget this story, especially in light of Script Unveiled's decode. Okay, also in the news, the foreign minister of Belarus is dead at 64. Now we know 64 is a number connected to killing. 311, the 64th prime. And dead for unknown reasons. He died suddenly, which is a trending thing right now on Twitter because of the latest Stu Peters film. Stu Peters, seemingly the only person in the world who can get anything to go viral, going against COVID, and we'll talk about that because Stu Peters seems to be kind of setting people up so that they look dumb, and a lot of people aren't catching on to that, so we'll go over old Stu Peters in a minute. But this man just drops dead out of nowhere, and here's what stands out. This man was born August 5th. He's dead November 26th. He's dead 113 days after his birthday. We know 113 is a number that's connected to deception and dishonesty. You could factor that in with killing people. Lukashenko, the leader of Belarus, his more traditional spelling does, the way they spell up here, Alexander Lukashenko, has the Gematria 113. And then from Lukashenko's 68th birthday to this man's death, was 88 days later. We talk about 88 and poisoning a lot. Poison equals 88. Arsenic poisoning equals 88. You could also say that he died on Lukashenko's 89th day of his age, either 88 days after his birthday or his 89th day of his age. Foreign minister equals 89. He was the foreign minister. And the day he died was a date with 79 numerology. And again, murder by numbers. Murder by Numbers, the movie poster. We were talking about the 38s at the beginning, and we still got to go back and talk more about Irene, Cara's death 38 years after her Grammy. But again, they called the 3-8, and then the orange numbers around murder are 7-9. And again, the word murder in the most simple cipher is 79. With numerology, it's 34. Today, on the day leaving 34 days left and you're out of New York, one of the low vibration headlines is a baby and a toddler were stabbed to death. And they said that the baby was 11 months old, the toddler was 3 years old, 113 again. But today's the day leaving 34 days left in the year. And the news is breaking about the Belarus foreign minister today, who died on the 79 date numerology yesterday. And again, murder also has that gematria of 83 and 38, like the song Murder by Numbers by The Police came out in 83. Remember all the 83s all over Uvalde where the police stood down. But Murder by Numbers, and that movie, stars Sandra Bullock, whose name's 83, and the movie came out on Ignatius Loyola Day, April 19th, tragic day in history. Came out 38 weeks after Sandra Bullock's 37th birthday. And again, the day you turn 37 is the day you begin your 38th year of life. And words like killing, death, RIP, gematria, English, Kabbalah, murder, they're all 38. So is Jew. Again, gematria comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. It's its origins. DC, the city on the 38th parallel north. Anthony Fauci stepping down after 38 years. Who was the face of the pandemic, another word associated with death that is 38. And again, there's also the story of the ABC murders, which has the gematria of 79 as well as 56, like the Society of Jesus. And again, Murder by Numbers came out on Ignatius Loyola Day, who died in 1556 in a clear Jesuit ritual, reminding that these people even cannibalize their own. Again, what do they say? No honor among thieves. I don't know what the phrase is amongst murderers, but I imagine it would be something similar. So, RIP to this man, I imagine, though, at the end of the day, you climb high in the world of politics, you probably weren't the most honest person. Still wouldn't say that's a justification for being murdered. But also coming up on Tuesday, we're going to have U.S. versus Iran. And the last time these teams met in the World Cup was in '98, 24 years ago. Iran beat the U.S. 2-1. And this year before the meeting, the U.S. football team is advocating for women's rights. And again, I got to be honest, if you talk to a Muslim man and say, why do you make your women wear a burqa? Or is that the right term for it? Or whatever the dress is that they wear that pretty much covers up everything. They'll say, well, the reason we cover them up is so, we're not trying to touch all their nice, sexy parts, and it's keeping us from temptation. And it's like, well, I don't know if that's quite right. So the woman has to guard herself from the over-sexualized man. That doesn't seem quite right. But at the same time, it's like, is the U.S. in any place to advocate for women's rights anywhere in the world? I mean, I'm pretty sure the U.S. is the leader in, the sexual abuse and the beating of women. And I know we're the world leader in putting out music that just instigates the trashiest of behavior. And I know we're also the land of Disney, which is trying to over-sexualize people from a super young age. It's just like, I don't think the U.S. has a place to advocate for women's rights. I feel like the U.S. is a poisoner of relations between men and women worldwide, since our stuff goes everywhere. But yeah, the one thing I thought that was funny about this, in light of it being 24 years since these teams played each other, is the word woman equals 24 and the word Iran also equals 24. So last meeting was June 21st, 98. Back then the FIFA World Cup was earlier in the year. And I do believe it's later in the year in Qatar because it's so hot there earlier in the year. So you got to do it more in this little bit cooler time period. Iran's leader is 83 years old right now, the magic football number. And this meeting will be exactly 32 weeks after his birthday, the big America number. So see what happens. But 24 years since they last faced each other. And again, woman and Iran both equal 24. And speaking of 24, Kanye, who now goes by Ye, which has Gematria 24, announced on the 24th of November, on Thanksgiving, that he'll be running for president in 2024. And again, this is probably why you'll never hear Kanye come out and talk about Gematria, because if you learned about it, you'd see how he's a puppet on strings, and literally everything that he's doing and being covered for is a ritual. Keep in mind, he's 45 years old right now, and this was 2 days after his controversial dinner with number 45, who just lost his ex-wife earlier this year, 45 years after their marriage. Of course, Kanye recently went through the divorce. This announcement was also 169 days after his birthday, which has a square root of 13. And the surname West is 13. Remember, Kanye West equals Illuminati. The Illuminati founded with the 13 families. Remember, the Illuminati was founded on the first day of the 5th month, the first day of May. When you add 1 through 15 together, it equals 120. Illuminati equals 120. Kanye West 120. He just came out about his mother being sacrificed on the 15-year anniversary of her death. And then Trump, his buddy, announced he was running for president formally on the 15th of November. But yeah, apparently Kanye West brings Nick Fuentes. It's just how? Out of all the people in the world you could bring with you, you're going to bring with you Nick Fuentes, who's been advocating for keeping America white? It's just really? That's your move, to bring the little white nationalist with you to Trump's house? I mean, you can't tell me that all these guys aren't puppets on strings. And why is Nick Fuentes, as a white nationalist, going with Kanye West to the White House? Doesn't seem to represent what he's supposedly about. Maybe Kanye West went in whiteface. I don't know. But okay, another guy I want to talk about, Stu Peters. So Stu Peters put out the viral video earlier this year that fooled seemingly everyone in this community, including my mom, and got everyone thinking that, man, maybe they did put cobra venom in the water and maybe that's what COVID really is. And I was like, can you imagine that operation? Can you imagine how much cobra venom you would have to manufacture to put in the U.S. water supply to infect everybody? Oh my God. I mean, just right off the bat, you should be like, nah. The only thing I can say that was good about that Stu Peters Cobra documentary is at the end, he said, it seems like all roads lead to Rome and the Pope. I mean, that was the one thing he got right. It is the Jesuits. And, but then in a way, it's like, was that done on purpose to like make that idea seem stupid too? With the cobra venom idea? So that went viral somehow, and everyone was like, yeah, I think that's what they did. I think they put cobra venom in the water. And I'm like, oh my God, man, this is like flat earth all over again. Every time this stuff happens, I'm like, man, I got to make Gematria really stupid. If I make Gematria really stupid, maybe it'll finally go viral. Presenting it too intelligently. But yeah, even my mom was about it. She's like, Zach, I think they put cobra venom in the... I was like, come on, Mom. Now you're sounding like you're from North Dakota. But anyway, now he has a new video that's gone viral. I think it's called, hold on. Is it called Died Suddenly? Is it Died Suddenly? Died Suddenly. And to his credit, Died Suddenly is a lot better than the cobra venom thing. Died Suddenly, if you have not seen it yet, focuses on people who are doing morticians work. Morticians, undertakers, when somebody dies. And you have a few different morticians in the film who at some point speak for larger groups of morticians. At one point it says there was a conference of morticians and there were 100 people there, and all 100 said that they've seen the exact same thing, that they're having trouble getting the embalming fluid to go through dead corpses. And embalming fluids put into corpses for people who want to preserve the dead's body, kind of like the modern day mummification. But just saying that it's not going through a lot of people's bodies because their veins are so clotted from whatever happened to them after they got the jab. And then, you know, they have a lot of footage of like the things that are being pulled out of people's veins, these long, very long clots that are like super long worms. And, you know, all that I'm not doubting. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised about any of that. And the thing he did in his latest film, though, that's the problem, is he purposefully used footage from an athlete collapsing before COVID even happened. So all of the mainstream media jumped on that, and they said, see, this guy's misleading. He's using false footage that he must have known was from before the pandemic. So this guy is a purposeful deceiver. This guy is purposefully dishonest, and we have hard evidence he deceived you because, look, anyone can look up this footage and see it was before the pandemic. So the thing is, you got to say, like, okay, was Stu Peters handed the footage and said, hey, put this one in your film too, and he didn't realize, he didn't take the time to check that and see that it was before? I mean, you could say maybe it was an accident on his part, but the reason I don't think it is, and the reason I think it was done exactly on purpose for exactly what's happening now with all the media focusing on that one point, because that's all it takes. For all the people who think that we're a bunch of nutcases for questioning authority and for not getting our jab and not going along with the safety protocols and wearing a muzzle for the last 2+ years, which is a huge component in America, that's all they need to never look into a film like this. Just that one thing. That everyone's identified that and they can verify it's true. And, you know, I got to be honest, I didn't realize that Died Suddenly was his film, and I didn't catch when I watched it. I was watching it in the background while I was working, so I wasn't even paying attention to the whole thing, but my mom also told me to watch that film because, again, Stu Peters is connected with Del Bigtree and Robert Kennedy and the people that are getting the attention in the time of the pandemic, and my mom's following everything they're doing, and she's like, you got to watch this. This is the best film yet. And I watched it and listened in the background. You know, I probably saw about 20% of it on screen and listened to the rest in the background. But I did think it was well done. And I liked how right at the beginning of the film they got Bill Gates at his 2010 TED Talk. I think that's how every documentary about COVID should start. The same thing that YouTube won't allow you to even... It's crazy. Like, if I showed that clip right now, you can guarantee this video would be taken down for medical misinformation just for showing Bill Gates in his own words at what he said at his 2010 TED Talk. But, again, the more recent film, I think it is... right, it's just why put in the false footage, because there was no need to put in that false footage. Everybody knows that athletes are collapsing all over. There's already enough footage of it happening, so why put in the false footage and give people a reason? And, you know, ultimately now, this guy now has a resume of getting everybody in the truth community to fall behind they put cobra venom in the water, and now nobody's questioning his film and his false footage. So it just takes these little things in the minds of the people who are under the spell of authority to denounce everything that is true. And then the one other thing you got to ask yourself is, how is Stu Peters going viral? Nobody else is going viral. You know, you would think that my book maybe by now would have went viral. After all, it's in writing a dead-on prediction about when they would ramp down all the COVID mandates, all dead on. Everything I wrote in my book is dead on, and the book came out in September of 2020, so... you would think a book with accurate forecasts, sharing the knowledge, you think that would go viral. You think Stu Peters would maybe even put part of it in his book, or Robert Kennedy would have gave a shout out, or Del Bigtree at this point would bring it up in one of his broadcasts. And that's why my mom continues to annoy me by constantly hounding me and emailing me and text messaging me with every last thing these people are doing. Because ultimately these people, I don't want to say they're doing bad work, but they never talk about the Jesuits. They never talk about the ritualism and how it's executed. And again, to me, these are the things that people need to learn to see through what's being done. When you understand who's doing it and why they do it, because they're a bunch of Kabbalists and they are into ritualism, then you can see through every last thing. So, anyway, why do only certain things go viral online are questions people need to ask. How is it that Stu Peters can continue to go viral? And you would think after, you would think, I don't know. I mean, it's just amazing to me too that like cobra venom in the water appeals to people more than learning the knowledge of actually what's going on. That imagine if people learned about COVID in 56, that they wouldn't be, every time I turn on the news, you guys, like literally every time I turn on the news and they bring up COVID, they have some new 56% stat on the screen. I'm just like, oh my God, man, it's like 3 years of this now, and people, and just like, how do people not notice in the first place? Like imagine nobody had figured it out yet. I feel like there's at least 100 million people in America. Like even if nobody was talking about Gematria, there should be like at least 100 million people being like, have you noticed they keep talking about 56? Why is it always 56%? Man, I keep just seeing 56 everywhere. I mean, here, the last time I turned on the news, it was just the other day. I turned on the news and this is on. Let me scroll through some posts here. By the way, shout out to Neo the Hacker. I think Neo the Hacker is on the verge of making a comeback. Hold on. Let me see. Right here. I mean, this was just on the other day. Effectiveness of COVID-19 Omicron booster, 43 to 56%. It's just like, come on, man. Just turned it on. And the 43 is another one we've been talking about too. Pandemic's 43. You know, coronavirus, 56. COVID vaccine, 56. Million examples. A million examples. We talked a lot about 43 too, but it's the 56 that's the bigger one. And yeah, I mean, you can learn about cobra venom, which you're not really learning anything. I mean, just if you have critical thinking, you'd be like, I don't think that's possible to manufacture enough cobra venom to put in the water supply. I don't think they could do that. Doesn't sound possible. The reason they can put fluoride all through the water supply is because fluoride's a byproduct of the production of metals. And we produce a lot of metals, so that's why there's so much fluoride. But I don't know. Cobra venom? Okay. All right, let's come back to Irene Cara, dead 38 years after her Grammy, dead at 63, exactly 36 weeks after her birthday. Again, she played Coco, which equals 36 in the movie Fame. And, you know, Notice she was 25 years old when she won her Grammy. She's dead on November 25th. The word fame is 25. Remember, the word death, again, death is 38, which we talk about the most. Dead 38 years after the Grammy, but also dead on the 25th when she won her Grammy at age 25. Death, of course, is also 97, which is the 25th prime number. And again, I mean, it's just par for the course. We've seen this so many times in show business. So the next upcoming Grammys will also be on February 5th, 2/5. And notice fame, when you run it forwards, is 25. In reverse, it's 83, like Murder's 83. And she recorded the song, and it came out in 83, Flashdance, What a Feeling, which she won the Grammy for in 84, 38 years before her death. And the music was done by Giorgio Moroder, who is still alive, who just turned 82, which means he just began his 83rd year of life. And I noticed from his birthday, April 26th, to her death was 213 days later. Again, that's another number we talk about with death a lot. In Satanic Gematria, death is 213. Remember, Tupac died on the 38-date numerology 213 days after the release of his last album While He Was Alive, which came out on 213. So 38, 213, familiar pattern, now applies to her life. And the movie that she was in where she played Coco, that movie also runs 97 minutes. Supposedly it made $201 million at the box office. And Flashdance, for the record, has Gematria 73, like ritual sacrifice, like sacrifice. Remember what happened to the Grease actress earlier this year? Olivia Newton-John in 73. They did the ritual the day before on The Masked Singer of Australia before her passing. She also died 193 days after the Fame Anniversaries release in the U.S. That's the 44th prime, Kill and Execution 44. Again, cause of death, currently unknown, currently unknown, currently unknown. And it's just sad, man. I mean, it's just... you just see how it is, too, right? It's like, she used to be young and pretty, right? In the movies, making hit songs, making a lot of money for the studios, for the record companies. And, now she's an older woman. Now what value does she have to the studio? Well, if we killed her, people probably go back and buy some singles on iTunes. You know what I mean? Probably have a life insurance policy on her. Yeah, and then just the other thing that I guess I should bring up since we're talking about everything here. Why is the World Cup in Qatar? The World Cup. Let's have the World Cup in a very, very, very conservative city that has rules that are pretty much like nowhere else on earth, that kind of fly in the face of modern culture everywhere. Again, we know they do this to have the clash, to bring about the stories. Oh, even the FIFA refs that are supposed to be against are now wearing the armband to support, essentially, they call it One Love, but what is it really? It's really just another way to promote homosexuality. And it's just like, I had on ABC News yesterday morning while I was working, and I realized like nearly every man on ABC News yesterday morning was a gay anchor because they were talking about being openly gay. And they were talking about how it's good news that Disney has a movie coming out where the lead character's gay, and it's about time. And they're proud of like the protests in Qatar standing up for gay people. And it's just like, again, I don't have a problem with gay people, but again, the problem is the marketing of homosexuality and promoting it like it's this really cool, hip thing, and it's what children should get into. And to me, it's super symbolic because, humanity's metaphorical ass has never been more plunged than it has in recent times. And I mean, this whole COVID thing is the biggest ass plundering there ever was. So, yeah, it's just... And I mean, from a health standpoint, aren't you a lot more prone to disease and illness if you're homosexual? I mean, that's always been my understanding because, you know, there's a lot more bleeding and leads to infections. And anyway, yeah, it's just... And then they say there's not an agenda. It's like, well, if there's not an agenda and homosexuals, they are making up a growing percentage of the population, but then how come like every man on ABC News on Saturday is gay if there's not an agenda? If they're the minority, then why are they making up the majority of the men on the network this morning? And it might be, I don't normally watch ABC News. It just happened to be on yesterday while I was working. And I was like, wow, like every guy that's on here is gay and talking about being gay. This is interesting. So, or maybe they had more of their gay anchors on at once because this is the big thing in the news right now. So, but yeah, I also don't think people should be mean to people because they're gay. I've always stood up for gay people in that right. You know, I never had a problem with gay people, and you know, I in the 90s when there wasn't even that many gay people, you would see like the Christians coming outside like sports stadiums, and they'd have their signs about abortion and homosexuality. And I was like, I don't even really know anyone who's gay. Is this really that big of a thing? But it's changed since then. There are a lot of people who are gay now. So anyway, R.I.P. to Irene. And yeah, it's just sad. The same stuff, just day after day. Day after day. Here, let me make sure there's no news breaking. Significant severe weather event. You see how there's like a swirl up in the Pacific Northwest? We had a really bad windstorm here this morning. Wasn't as bad as the one on November 5th, but I thought, storm equals 22. 22 days since the last bad windstorm. So, also had another pretty poor night of sleep thanks to the wind. It was pretty hard to sleep as loud as it was and all the stuff that was blowing around and banging around. Hopefully, where you guys were, you didn't have to deal with anything like that, but man, was it windy. Okay. All right, I see that there were some super chats. Let me say thank you to the super chatters, then we'll open up the phone line. I think we did hit all the topics. Okay. By the way, congrats to the people who took the game of the day today. I'm always teaching you guys about Colorado and 38, right? Like I said, it's never good to bet your house, but if you ever had to bet your house, you'd bet your house on a Colorado 38 ritual. Panthers equals 38, Colorado equals 38. The Broncos fall to 3-8. Like Russell Wilson went to the Broncos on March 8th, 3-8. And don't forget he was drafted by the Colorado Rockies back when he was in college, and Colorado Rockies is 163, the 38th prime, and then his dad died the next day. Go figure. 38, Colorado's the 38th state, the state that has so many tragic stories, death, family killings, mass shootings. The Watts family with the 38s and 83s coated all over them. Anyhow, shout out to Amy2 Crack, their coach. She chipped in $2 and said, correction. Oh, wait, that's because she did a $5 super chat before that. And she said, Flashdance, what a feeling. Equals 113. She died 113 days after her birthday, or a span of 114. Her full name equals 114. She meant to say before her birthday instead of after. Easy mistake to make. Again, you guys, cracktheircode.org is Amy's website. Cracktheircode.org. She's doing awesome work. Again, another great site to plug a bookmark. Again, Ali's got the new Gematria calculator. Ciphers.news, ciphers with a Y. Websites to bookmark in your Gematria tab. So yeah, looks like her website's loading a little bit slow today, but she's doing great work over here. So cracktheircode.org. Thank you, Amy. Keep up the great work. See if those pictures load. Duffman187 chipped in 5 Canadian. Appreciate that, Duffman. Truth Vibration Podcast chipped in 2. He said, hey, everyone, get your workout in. Yeah, if you're out there, Truth Vibration Podcast, I wish you would stop deleting your videos when you're done streaming. The other thing you're doing is because you're deleting it before you even exit out of the stream, it shows that your channel's live, and then people will click on it, and it's nothing but a black swirly. Those are the kind of things that are going to make people not go back to your channel anymore, because they're like, every time I click on his channel, all I get's the black swirly thing. Let your work stay up. Maybe you're worried about your channel getting shut down because of something you said. Let it get shut down and just start another one. You know what I mean? Because, I got to be honest, I'm like, oh, cool, he did a stream, because I'm getting the notification that's live, and I click on it, and I'm too late. It's the black swirl. I'm like, man, he got rid of his stream again. Well, but it's you too, man. Do what you want to do. I've never been a big fan of when people just delete their streams. I'm always like, why? What's the point of doing that? I see there were some donations when I was driving in the car Wednesday. Sorry, guys, I ended up missing TFR because of that. Copper-colored one says they bring up Event 201 and died suddenly. Yeah, it's good they're bringing it up. It's just... yeah, I'm suspicious of Stu Peters and how he's able to go viral and the things that he's going viral for. GV2. What we did in New York City should have went viral. Instead, it was hardly anybody that even is subscribed to my channel watched what we did. Hardly anybody even came out in the scope of things. Shout out to everyone who did. It was still impactful. It's just, it should have been way more impactful. By the way, I've been debating on going down to LA for the anniversary of Kobe's death. There's no Lakers game then. They're out of town when that happens. I think I might wait till they do the Kobe Bryant Day in the summer. Probably be more activity in the summer, and that Kobe Bryant Day is a thing. I'm going to go down to LA this coming year, though, you guys. I think I'm going to save it for Kobe Bryant Day, though. Time flies. It'll be here before we know it. Because what I want to have before I go down there for LA, I want to have the Kobe Bryant Death children's book version. I want to be passing those out. So I have plenty of time to get that done. Illustrated. I got the awesome illustrator now. I think that would be cool. Come with 100 copies of that. Hopefully it's out and people can buy it before then too. Sign people's copies. Bring copies. Try and create a buzz in LA. Bigger than the one we created in New York. GV2, he donated on Wednesday. He said, yo, Zach, hope you're having a good day and holidays. Love and peace. Appreciate that. Mr. Scott chipped in 5 that day. Said, Zach, hope everything is great. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Somehow, in the time I was out there was more super chats. Shout out to Nathan, Disambiguation. He said, I hope everyone had a great weekend. Thanks, Zach. I did. I hope you all did too. By the way, congratulations to everyone who bought nothing on Black Friday. Sweet lady did buy herself a pair of shoes. I didn't buy anything. Sweet lady, though, she's been... Sweet lady, you know how women love shoes? Sweet lady does not buy shoes. It amazes me. She does not buy shoes. I've been telling her to get a pair of shoes for a while because her shoes are all scuffed up and scruffy. She likes her clothes, but she doesn't. It's interesting. And she's out of all the women I've ever known, she buys the least shoes. But that was the one thing Sweet lady got on Black Friday. Anyhow, shout out to the Shark. Shark was the MVP of the New York trip. Thanks, Shark. I appreciate it. Shark, you don't have to ever donate again, my man. Again, Shark brought out all kinds of donations for all the Truth Seekers that came out in New York. He helped us save a bunch of money with the Truth Seeker discount in the subway. I was worried for him for a while, but I was like, I guess, why even worry? Everything ended up being just fine with the Truth Seeker discount. I hope they don't go back on the tape and get him. Amawan Malak says, thanks, Zach, for everything you do. You are appreciated. Appreciate your generosity. You're welcome. Mr. Futures, I think his game of the day was the Broncos-Panthers game. I was like, I wonder what game Victor will go with today. Victor tries to pick out one of his favorite games every Sunday. I was like, he's probably going to go with that Broncos-Panthers game. Again, Panthers equals 38, Colorado 38. Panthers came into the game 3-8. The Broncos fall to 3-8. And the other thing that was nice about the game is Russell Wilson, it's his first year with the Broncos. He was 3-6 with the Broncos coming in. He fell to 3-7 and picked up his 37th career road loss, and Carolina equals 37. By the way, for those of you guys who are trying to get on the sports decoding, the cipher that matters the most in sports, is the dark blue cipher. Colorado 38, Panthers 38. Remember, the Panthers lost in Super Bowl 38. They also lost to the Broncos in Super Bowl 50 on the 38th day of the year. And then in that same cipher, Carolina's 37. So Panthers were an underdog with great value today. That's what you look for when you use this knowledge. You look for the game that has the value, the payout, and the riddle. And, it was all day, that game. The other game that was awesome today was... you see how Commanders is 57? And you see how Atlanta's 15? Atlanta fell to 5-7 versus the Commanders. Notice it's the Commanders in the first season, or in the season of Super Bowl 57, the new name. But Atlanta fell to 1-5 away too. I like that game a lot this morning as well. 2 weeks in a row, I was loving the Commanders. But again, that's the beauty of this knowledge. You can see through the news. You can see through the rigged sports game. You can pad your pockets with some money. However, sometimes it'll make you mad. And yesterday when Michigan beat Ohio State, I was like, God. Yesterday Ohio State fell to 11-1. 11-1 in their 111th season, losing to Michigan. But it slipped my mind that it was the 111th season, because what just screamed out to me about that game is the Ohio State coach could have got his 46th win yesterday, and had he done that, Harbaugh would have got his 46th loss. We'll see if these teams meet again in the college football championship, kind of like what happened with Georgia and Alabama last year. So, anyway... That was a surprise, though, because that's a big number. It's just like when I said Joe Biden would be number 46, I said, watch, Michigan will go for Biden, and of course it did. But sometimes you'll get surprised. However, the game that had value yesterday was the Beavers upsetting the Oregon Ducks, and they did drop the Ducks to 7-2 in the conference. So, you win some, you lose some, but with this knowledge, you'll win the majority. That 72 played nice yesterday, too. Toronto 72 had a nice 72 in their upset yesterday of their team in the NBA. Again, this knowledge crosses all the sports leagues. It's involved in the World Cup. English and the Gregorian calendar are the systems of the world. This knowledge is applicable worldwide. Sports, news, politics. Doesn't matter if it's not even the main language in that country, because in that country they're learning English. Just like I made the point the other day. When I was on the panel, the Christians were like, no, English isn't the language of the world, it's Chinese. And I was like, okay, maybe more people speak Chinese, but here, let me use Sweet Lady as an example. She's from Burma, which is next door to China. Do they teach in Burma? Do they teach their people Chinese? Nope. They learn Burmese and they learn English, just like pretty much everywhere in the world, because English is the language of the world. So, anyway, people can keep being hard-headed and ignore the facts, but you'll notice we're not decoding sports and winning money with Mandarin each day. Nope, we're not doing that at all. The Mandarin language, as far as I know, is not synced up with the Gregorian calendar, but the English language sure is. Okay. All right, let me make sure I said thank you to everyone. Yeah, I did. All right. Here, we'll open up the phone line. Shout out to CDP on the Cash App. He just chipped in $5. Thank goodness Sarah Sutherland's out with her family. Otherwise, she would donate too. I always feel bad. Sarah Sutherland donates too much. Almost any time I'm doing a live stream, she'll donate on the Cash App. Thank you, the missus. I appreciate that. She says, I was wondering why the killed in Mexico went viral. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Shaquilla Robinson, I did cover her death, but the video I covered it in, I did not I did not put her in the thumbnail or the title because it just kind of came up in the video. But hold on, did I spell her name wrong? Okay, here we go. So again, she's from Charlotte. This became the news right after Rambo had just given his latest presentation about why there was so much Charlotte-related stuff in the news and where it fit in with Queen Elizabeth. But here was the thing. Her name in Gematria. You see how her name is like this? 81 and 99. She died on 81 date numerology. We call that the ritual number. And then with regards to 99... and being from Charlotte, Charlotte connects with Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth's birth name equals 99, and her husband recently died at age 99 on the 99th day of the year. And with regards to the Charlotte-Queen Elizabeth connection, Charlotte has Gematria 51, and she died 51 days after Queen Elizabeth. And I did see that somebody else was covering her death, and they pointed out that when the parents were doing the interview, or her if it wasn't her parents, but when her related family were doing the interview about her death, they were in this room that was on this all black and white checkerboard floor, which is highly Masonic, like the royal family's Masonic. So again, it looks like another ritual, and again, secret societies, this code, ritual after ritual, from the Queen to Shanquella Robinson. So, and keep in mind she was 25 years old as well. We were just talking about with the death of the Fame actress. Again, the Fame actress is dead on the 25th. Fame is 25, death is 25. So, the channel that did a bigger presentation on this and showed the footage. Here, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let me see if I can find his video. Call Me Kinfolk, I saw had a presentation and showed the footage of the family. Oh, here, by the way, here, a lot of you guys aren't noticing this, but YouTube did this about 2 weeks ago. Notice how a channel, when you go to a channel's page, there's a videos tab. Those are videos that they just straight uploaded. And then there's a shorts tab, which are the short videos. And then there's a live tab where the live streams are. So a lot of you guys aren't seeing the live streams. Okay, it's under his live under Call Me Kinfolk. He has the family on the black and white checkerboard floor. And a lot of people believe that Call Me Kinfolk is controlled opposition now. You guys, I wouldn't accuse him of being controlled opposition. It is interesting how he's getting the biggest views in the community. He's definitely not the best Gematria decoder, but he's the only Gematria channel that's getting views. And the kind of views he's getting are the kind of views, I haven't gotten views like that since 2018. I mean, all my videos consistently got that many views or more back in 2018. In 2016 and 2017, it was even better. But now I'm in the algorithm gutter, and I mean, look, right now, there's 200 and some people watching the stream. Had I been live streaming this in 2018, there'd be at least 2,000 people in the room. And it doesn't make sense that there'd be less people following the work right now. All we've been doing is building the resume, correct prediction after correct prediction, nailed everything about the pandemic, a million more sports predictions. You'd think we'd be bigger than ever. You think there'd be 200,000 people in the stream, but somehow instead of going up, we're just going down, down, down. So I do find it funny that Call Me Kinfolk is getting the views he's getting in light of nobody else in the community getting views, since his decodes, they're okay, but he's definitely not the best decoder, So, but yeah, he did do a video on that, and the black and white floor does scream out Masonic rituals. So, okay. Well, I mean, there's other people in the community decoding pop culture too, and again, they're not getting any views. So, Shout out to Jesse Longoria. Appreciate the Cash App. I'm not sending shots. I'm not sending shots. See, that the problem is with people like you. Why are you sending shots? What did I just say? I said people should not accuse me of being controlled opposition. But I do think it's a little bit funny that other people in the community who do a lot better decoding don't get a fraction of the traffic. I'm just like, anyway. So, again, and the other thing about Call Me Kinfolk is he kind of came out of nowhere. He doesn't really associate with anybody in the community, whereas like there's a network of people who've been around for years doing this, and they can't get the traffic. And then Call Me Kinfolk's kind of doing decodes, kind of like the Cobra Venom thing, and like he's like, this person's name equals this, and that means they were cloned. It's like, well, them being, I don't know how Gematria proves that they're cloned, so it's like kind of making a bogus claim. I don't know if that brings more credibility to the work, but at the same time, in a way, I'm glad that he's helping the knowledge reach a bigger audience. So that's just called real feedback. By the way, shout out to D26. D26, it was his birthday, November 26th. Happy birthday. He turned 21 years old. Mr. Futures, thanks for the super chat. I don't understand what EIS is. I put my perfect NFL season, at risk. I think you meant to write risk. At risk today with a 3-8 team. Well, I didn't think there was really any risk in that Panthers. Like, to me, it's just like, I see what you're saying, because they're a team that loses the majority of their games. But I didn't see much of a risk in that game. I felt like that was the game of the day. It had the value, and we know about Colorado in 38. It's rock solid, so. Okay, let me get the phone line open here. Where did my thing go? Hold on, you guys. What in the world? Oh, there it is. It's been so long since I opened the phone line, I forgot where it was. All right, phone line's now open. If you guys want to call in, it is that number on the screen, 509-560-4982. 509-560-4982. And the first call is Fresno, California. What's up, Fresno?
Hey there. I never heard you mention this. I don't know if you ever noticed it, but when Jesus died, they say all his body vanished from earth, went to heaven. Nobody was in the tomb, except the part that didn't leave earth was what was cut off of him when he was a kid. When he was circumcised, they call that the holy prepuce. And the holy prepuce equals 201.
Wait, what is that phrase? The holy what?
Prepuce. Prepuce.
I never heard that one before. The holy prepuce, huh?
Yeah.
The holy prepuce. Okay. The holy foreskin. Amazing. The holy prepuce. Okay.
Yeah. Cool one.
So that's the only thing supposedly left behind after he vanished into heaven? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, I see. Sure. The holy prepuce, 177 and 201 like the Jesuit order, 78 like Jesuit, 57 like Rome. How about that? How about that?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be another children's book I do. So get some nice drawings of the rabbis passing around the latest baby. So, okay.
All right.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Well, you learn something new every day. The Holy Preface. I didn't know that one. There's a 201 for the ages. All right, the Kentucky Homesteader. What's up?
Okay. Oh, here. Let me turn off the stream real quick. Okay. Hey. I've got a really fresh idea for you, Zach.
Okay.
All right. Here you go. You were talking about, another meetup last summer at the beginning of your broadcast tonight, and you kind of spawned this thought on me. And this is something that my wife and I have been kind of tossing around the idea for the future. We've been on our place here in the mountains of Kentucky now for 3 years, and we've been tossing this idea about, over the course of the years. And now we're actually working up to the ability to do this. And then we came across you. So the idea was like, just spontaneously, the name I came up with generically is a super group meetup. A super group meetup. And so basically, my wife, myself, yourself, and 12 other guests that we feel like we would maybe screen and then have the passageway. We meet in a public place not far from here, and then we come out to our 19 acres and we have a workshop of the meetings of the kindred spirits and souls to get across the necessary information and to open ourselves up to each other and share what our experiences are and how we can positively influence each other and possibly become a super group of people that actually are very well connected and continuously continue to do these things together and possibly in other places. But I think that this original idea here is to have it taking form here on our 18 acres and to open our home up that we've built out here and to, like I said, have a workshop of a meeting of kindred minds and spirits that have something to provide to each other and to hopefully help expand our consciousness and get onto other methods of working that we might not understand just in our own worlds right now. But if we had this much influence around each other at the same time and had a positive effect on each other, then I think we'd all walk away with the right message and the right experience.
Yeah, I hear that. I think it's a great idea. So
I'm inviting you personally, and I know I talked with Christina here when you were on the broadcast, and she just got home from work, and I was like, hey, he's on right now. I was like, this idea hit me, and this is what we've been talking about and working towards doing here. And this is not just a fly-by-night type of thing. This is something we've culminated this thought, but we've had to go through so much process to get to where we're at now to open ourselves up and have the ability to cater to 12 other people, including yourself and myself and Christina. And I think that 15 of us is a decent enough posse together of the right folks. And like I said, if we screen them and we, get to kind of understand that we have the right people, we meet in a public place, we come together, and then we'll bring you back to our home and open it up. And because this is a really beautiful place, it's got a lot to offer, and there's a camper in case a mother happens to come with a child. There is a camper. They would get the first say as that shelter, but I mean, if a bad storm came or whatever, we have enough shelter where we can house everyone. It's not that big of a posse. It's enough though. And if a bad storm came, and people couldn't camp in that, then we're just going to pull everybody into our home. But hopefully we have beautiful weather, But the idea is not just, about homesteading, which is, of course, what Christina and I have been doing for 3 years out here in the mountains of Kentucky, but going beyond ourselves into the idea of possibly other people that have thought about this idea or are doing it, or just the idea of people that want to get together to form a tight unit of people that are standing against the cruelty and the evil of the world together as a tight-knit group, and that we're out there and we should possibly be able to maintain that over the years and be a source of something to reckon with against the promoted, accepted bullshit ideas of the world.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting idea, and it would be cool to establish that kind of community and people who work together and networked and see what we could build from it. So
teach each other, teach and share with each other. That's the main goal, and also like to influence and enhance each other's lives through our existence together.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat, their responses sounds like a cult. And again, I mean, it's just annoying that everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, some people have that response. It's like coming together and working together as a community instantly means a cult. I mean, it's just...
Well, the thing is, bro, you know this as well as I do. I mean, shit, dude, I'll be 48 next year, man. And it's like, you know that there's a lot of smoke out there, a lot of people blowing a lot of bullshit out there. And so we can't take it personally. It's just like, if we're drawing that type of attention just by bringing a positive message and idea together, then that should show you who is full of shit and like not have to worry about it so much, you know?
Indeed.
Because only somebody that feels what I'm saying right now to the world understands it and feels it and goes, I'm one of those 12 people that wants to be there and understand that this is an open sharing and someone welcoming them to their home and basically asking for the best of what you got so we can all fruit together and not continue this degrading of humanity. We can actually be a small posse. Fuck your cult bullshit. It's a small posse of people that want to unite and actually just for the cause of good. This ain't about, it's not about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, cults and whatever, voodoo, hoodoo, you know. No, man, it's about freaking reality and about people accepting it and laying down their own shields in front of a group and saying, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and this is what I can bring to the table to be a better servant to the idea of the truth, the ultimate freaking universal truth. And if you're one of these 12 people that think you want to come here, then that's why I'm here saying this, because I don't think that it's a preposterous, stupid idea at all. I think it's something that could really culminate into something that really develops inside other people. And that's what I'm trying to share and bring together, because I know there's other people besides yourself that have something to share. And if they have the right platform and have the right setting and the right people around them and feel comfortable, then I think that we can actually promote something within ourselves and within each other to take on to the next steps and phases of our lives. And that's all I'm really asking for.
All right. Well, I think it's a great idea. And do you want to put out more information for people who are in your neck of the woods in Kentucky?
No, what I would like is when you're actually going to make another trip back to the eastbound side, that we work together. Maybe we could forecast this sometime like late July when the chanterelle mushrooms are coming up, and we'll have free food and blackberries, and we'll have nice things to pick off the land and whatnot. And if we could forecast this, like say 8 months down the line, then this is not that far fetched as far as being able to kind of vet people. Like if you had me on, if you and I did a scheduled show and let people call in and talk, and like I have a separate phone line that people could actually text me and I can vet them myself. Like I just want to get a feel for someone before I say, oh, you want to come to Kentucky and come meet up in a public parking lot and go through with this, you know? Like, dude, we got to have some type of a safety barrier. But other than that, I'm not afraid, you know?
Sure. Okay, well, again, I will eventually get back out there, and we'll stay in touch. And yeah, I think exactly what you're proposing are the types of things that need to happen all over the place to build real community and make things happen. So thank you.
Well, the reason why it also spawned in me tonight is because I thought back to the idea of how you have gone and gotten gatherings of people in the city, and you've gotten them on city blocks. But what I'm offering is something that's more personal and more natural, and something where people actually, I think if we had a small posse that got through the net and we all trusted each other, that we'd actually find just the right gems of quality of people that came through and sifted through, and we come together and we just, if Woodstock can have 500,000 people, surely we can have 12, 15,
Indeed. All right, friend. Well, great idea. I appreciate you calling in and putting it out there. Let a few more people get in. You have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll let you hang up, but toss this around in the back of your head and get back to me about it, okay?
All right, will do. Take care, man. Thank you.
Later. Be safe.
See you. 680 or 860? 860? 860. Going once. All right, 860. Wasn't saying anything. If it was some kind of error, just call back 860, but we couldn't hear you. $701.
Yep, that's me.
What's going on?
Well, there's a Green Bay Packers and Philadelphia game today, and they're calling it a blackout game, and the Phillies doing their black uniforms. Anything on that?
I didn't know about the part about calling it the blackout game. I'm just thinking today is November 27th. Yeah, I'd have to think more about why they would call it the blackout game. I mean, did you read about it other than the headline?
Yeah, I saw it on. I looked at the schedule, and it was on the internet that they're using their black uniforms tonight. Philly is, and they're playing in Philly.
Okay.
So I thought maybe you might know something about that.
And no, I didn't even realize that was one of the storylines for the game. So I'll take a peek.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Take care, man. See you. I do see that that's true. 817.
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's all distorted.
Can you hear me better?
Way better.
Hey, Zach, this is Stephen Shields. Hey, man, I wanted to share something with you and everybody. Something really weird happened in Grand Prairie, Texas, which is right next door to Dallas. The other day, a police officer was doing his rounds, and he saw a car that had a paper tag, and the paper tag was fake. Now, so he gave chase. The guy took off. Well, then the police officer lost control, crashed into a traffic pole, and he was killed. Well, then I'm beginning to think that this was a sacrifice, because illegal paper tag equals 83. They showed on the news the car and they zoomed in on the paper tag, and it had 33 in it, like police. They were caught then, so they were searching for the car. They called it a ghost car, which equals 37 and 44. Grand Prairie, Texas, with TX, the abbreviation of Texas, equals 83. His name is Paul, and then his last name, it's hard to Said, Tsai. Paul equals 58. His last name equals 59. His first name was Brandon, but that didn't mean anything. But so legal paper tag equals 83, but then just paper tag itself equals 84, 39, and 42. The car they were looking for was a Malibu Chevy Malibu, which equals Malibu equals 58, and Chevy Malibu equals 59. So then now this just happened. So they're talking about it. This happened a few days ago, and then the story turned to, well, in Texas we have a problem with fake paper tags, and now then we got to correct it. So the state of Texas now then on December 4th, they're going to come out with brand new paper tags for the brand new car, temporary paper tags, and they're going to have like the watermark on it. They're going to have more information, so it'll be harder to fake them. Now, my opinion is that could have this been one of those sacrificial rituals in order to bring in the new paper tags? Did they actually murder this cop in order to bring in this new paper tag story? As we know, they love these sacrificial rituals to bring in something. Now, even more weird is the police car that crashed into the pole was on a highway called Spur 303. So we get the 33 if you take out the 0, and Spur equals 74, 20, 34, and 25. Now, I mean, just everything about this story to me just screamed ritual sacrifice to me, because it just didn't add up. They caught the man who was running. His name is Kobe Hoffman, Colbie Hoffman. That did not come up with any of the usual numbers we look for in murder and stuff. But it happened close to, the car, they found the car parked on the car that they were looking for that had the fake tags. They found that car on Hensley Drive. Hensley equals 34. Hensley Drive equals 133 and 47. So anyway, that story just...
Again, here's my feedback. It's just too much decoding of all these details, right? Because the thing is what day it happened on. You're missing the whole thing that I would point out. Like, you always got to find the strongest detail. It happened on Monday, November 14th, because I just looked up the story. That's the day leaving 47 days left in the year. Cop 47, policeman 47, government 47, authority. They're going to make a big apology. That's the thing that stands out too. Yeah, he dies. Now they want to make a policy change. That is kind of how they operate. So, again, I wouldn't be going through the decoding every last detail, the cars and stuff. I mean, sometimes they code things like that, but it's usually pretty blatant. Plus, this is a local news story and not national news.
Right.
But yeah, anyway. But yeah, just what you're doing with that kind of decoding, like every detail, it's what turns everybody off from Gematria, because it's like you got these people going crazy. They're decoding every last thing and trying to connect every last thing. It's like, just hit them with the thing that's so consistent. It happened on November 14th. It's a good day for a death, too, because dead is 14. And again, 47 in government rituals. I mean, that's the thing to say. And I mean, listen to how many numbers you spit out and didn't even hit that point. So anyway. Appreciate it, man.
Start doing the date.
Yeah. The other thing about that guy is, like, he was just in the chat thumbsing up one of the trolls' comments. I can't decide if he means well or not. I mean, Anyway. But yeah, you guys, when you decode, whenever you just, like, I don't even like listening to it. It's just like, oh my God, this is just number overload. And it was it's just like, hit the thing that matters. I show you guys how to decode every day, and my decodes never sound like that. 780?
Hey, what's the topic?
Well, I covered a lot of different things. I mean, you can talk about things I already talked about. If you have something else that's relevant, I mean, what's on your mind?
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for all your hard work with the decoding. I saw they had Nick Fuentes up there.
Yeah.
Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
What were you like? I just tuned in, so I'm familiar with that guy. What were you talking about with him? Just want to be brief.
Yeah, just that supposedly Kanye West brought him to dinner at Trump's place on the anniversary of the JFK assassination. And again, Nick Fuentes is a proud little Catholic. And again, that's the anniversary of the death of the first Catholic president. And his name in Gematria, Nick Fuentes, is 46, just like the word Catholic, just like how JFK was killed at age 46. So I'm saying, what are the odds that this is the news story? I mean, we haven't heard. The last time Nick Fuentes was a mainstream headline was probably about 3 years ago. So what are the odds of all days for him to come back on that day?
Yeah, it's very weird. What do you think of Kanye? I'm starting to think like it seems like it's all set up, but then at the same time, it's like potentially legit. Like he's kind of legit, maybe, but it's all suspect, you know?
Well, doesn't the whole thing sound suspect? Because Nick Fuentes is all about make America white again. So why would Kanye West bring essentially a white supremacist to Trump's place, and why would Nick Fuentes associate with Kanye West? And then the other point I made is, Nick Fuentes is known for being a college dropout. What's Kanye West's first album? The College Dropout. Again, and Kanye West is clearly a puppet on strings. His new rap name, Ye equals 24. On the 24th, he's announcing that he's running for 2024 right after this. I mean,
yeah, I definitely would say that it's just all part of the script. Nick Fuentes is so that description of him. Wouldn't that be the mainstream media? Because isn't Fuentes a Spanish last name? Isn't he Spanish? Not even white, really.
But he is all about white America. I mean, that's a stick.
Yeah. So yeah, but I wanted to call in to first of all say thanks for the hard work. I saw your notes for NFL today. How did you do it? Overall, I didn't follow up.
Well, the two games that I felt good about this morning both came in. Underdog Panthers and Washington. Those were the games that I liked out of the morning games.
Yeah, that's good. So I've been a supporter of yours. You might recognize my name. I sent you PayPal, or not PayPal, but Super Chats. My screen name is Plain Decoded, and I have my own channel. I'm going to self-promote if that's okay with you. And I use astrology only to decode games. And I actually was inspired by you because I heard you one time say before that you got to get your astrology game on. And I was like, that's true. That's the other side of this is the astrology. So I've been learning astrology. I learned horary astrology, which is a specific type of astrology. And it uses the tropical zodiac. And then I learned that, and then I learned how to predict the sports outcomes. And so on my channel, Plain Decoded, today I only posted one game. I was on a losing streak of 2, but I posted one, and it was the Browns. And I had them to score first. And
just classic riddles there. Cleveland got to 3-3 at home. Cleveland 33 in the most pure cipher. 4-7 for the year. Ohio 47. Tampa Bay 47, beating the Bucs in their 47th season to get to 4-7. Yeah, I in hindsight, I should have zero. When I looked at that initially on the surface, that looked good for the Browns. It's just I'm torn on what they're going to do with Brady's season, so I was hesitant on that game. But yeah, the typical Cleveland numbers came in. But the astrology piece, the moon was in Capricorn. Capricorn equals 56, and the Bucs fell to 5-6. Is that what you did?
So I don't know if you can hear me because you were cutting out. Can you hear me? Okay.
I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, all I do is I saw that, right? I saw the Gematria, but I'm trying to phase the Gematria to just sharpen my astrology side. So I did see that, but I just played the astrology only. So if you go to my video for today, it's Plain Decoded. That's my channel. If you go to my video for today, I noted that there was a specific aspect on the side that represents the underdog. And it's called the part of fortune, and it was sitting right on their cusp, right? So when I saw, sometimes when I don't know what to do, I'll pick up the Gematria and I'll pair it with the astrology. It's a nice pairing when you have both and you feel extra confident. But I just basically picked this game straight off the astrology. I saw the numbers, and I like those numbers. I used to just decode straight up only before, but this way I can even predict the top. If you look at my videos and go back during the World Series, I called scoring plays down to the minute, and it's it blew my mind when I first started doing it. But I just wanted to promote myself and say thanks for all your hard work. I have one suggestion for you for the truth community if you want to hear it.
Sure.
I think a great idea is, because I loved when you did this, is when that 322 shooting happened at I think it was a Walmart, you went right down there. If you had a fund that I would definitely donate to, like if you, and we could publicly see it, like if you just had a fund that we could all donate to as soon as the next shooting happens, you withdraw from the fund and go directly to the shooting, like that day. Like, I think that would be a great idea.
You mean like this? Most of them I'd have to fly to. So you mean like to travel to, like if I need to fly?
Yeah. So like, say you have like this fund set aside. It's called like the mass shooting fund, and you need like what? You'll need like $6,000 to get anywhere in the country and have like a night stay or two, right? So
I don't think you need that much. I don't think you need $6,000 to travel. It's like, you know, I probably did the whole New York trip. I probably did that whole New York trip. I mean, I was thrifty and I like I slept at rest areas and didn't eat a lot, but I think I did that whole New York trip for probably less than $6,000. Gas was a lot of the expense. So
yeah, but I think that's what you should do. Is have like I know you can't use GoFundMe or they ban you or something like that, where we can see it and then we know it's there, and then as soon as the next one happens, because as long as you have time, you can like withdraw from that fund, head right down that day, and stay that night like comfortably, right? Like $6,000, like whatever grand it would need to be like at least $2,000. So like so you can have your night stay, and then you can be right there in their faces that day. I think that's a great idea. That's my opinion, though.
okay, well, I mean, I'll think about that. Yeah, I've always said, man, if we just had an army of people supporting $1 a month, we could just hire Team Truth in every corner of the country and kind of just have that established. But yeah, that's not resonating with people, so I have to switch it up.
You're not tied down to a job. Like most people have jobs. Like I would go down to a shooting or something, but like I got a thing to tend to, you know. So that's why it would be good if you had it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's a good idea. I'll think about it. So appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks for the time on the air, and thanks for all your hard work.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
How perfect that I got to be his 201st subscriber. Yeah, the astrology is definitely another part of the game. It is definitely another part of the game. So. Well, I've been putting out tons of content every single day on Patreon. Yeah, I haven't been doing the live streams because they just eat up so much time, and I just haven't found that the sports live streams have been helpful. It's been like people calling in. It's just like, are these even like real supporters, or are these the trolls that are here all day? It's like, I mean, you guys have seen what it is when I do the sports live stream on Patreon. It's like everyone's calling in and going against the information I'm putting out, and then I end up getting proven correct. And it's like, that was a waste of 3 hours. So there are some good callers, but I mean, yeah, and the information I've been putting out is good week after week. So if anyone's unsubscribing because they missed the live streams, I mean, I'm sorry, but I hope you guys can appreciate the hours I'm putting in every day and putting out the winning information. I mean, yeah, again, you guys, there's just too many things. There's writing books. I've been dealing with moving the last 2 months and, you know, just keeping up with everything. So Patreon has a ton of content. I don't know how you could ever complain about the $5 a month cost. What's up, Victor?
Hey, what's going on, Zach? Sorry, I had to call you from this number because the other number I don't have on WhatsApp.
No, that's cool. What's up?
No, so I wanted to expand on my comment that I left in the chat, but also I did want to say, like, even though you haven't been doing the live streams with the sports, I do agree with you though. It's I guess when you weigh like the time consumption versus kind of like the impact, I think it's kind of turned into really just people who want to communicate with you and go back and forth / a little bit of self-promotion / people just trying to put down the work. So I really don't think, I mean, it's probably wasting more time than the benefit that it's giving.
It is. It hasn't been beneficial. It has not, because all I've been saying is, man, I just spent 3 hours and I came off a pick I really liked. And that's like the result every week. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not wasting 3 hours and coming off picks I like, hearing these. Yeah, so.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Your time needs to be spent, a little bit wiser and better. So I think that, whatever you think makes sense moving forward. The notes are enough for people at this point. You've been doing it for so long consistently. People should be able to take what they need from the notes and go to the next, make their choice.
Yeah, and again, I just want people to learn and use their own mind too, and yeah, I mean the other thing is like, so once upon a time, when I did the live stream, I had like all-star callers. I had you call in, I had Martin call in, I had Rod call in, but I mean part of the all things good and bad, I told all you guys to go out and make your own Patreons and do your own thing, and you all did, and now it's like, well, now I don't have as good a callers, so you know what? We just won't do calls anymore.
Yeah, no.
I got callers like, oh man, I had another really bad weekend. I'm like, well, did you go with the game that I really liked? He's like, no, I went the other way. And I'm just like, so why are you calling in? Okay, so you didn't use any of my picks and you had a really bad week and you're calling in every week? Okay, you know what? We're just not going to do calls anymore.
Yeah, it's more like the Gamblers Anonymous hotline is what it turned into, Zach, to be honest.
Yeah, and it just gets annoying because it's like you're calling in to tell me about the bad week you had and you didn't use my picks and you're doing it week after week. So why are you even subscribed to my line? Why are you even calling in every week? I mean, what is this about? So I just, Sweet Lady's telling me the same thing. She's like, Zach, stop taking the phone calls. I can tell that's not productive. And I was like, you know what? It's not. So.
Exactly, yeah. So just to like expand on the comment that I was saying, the reason I made the comment about the 38 wasn't for you really. It's for the people, like for anybody that contests this work. And I say like the average sports bettor. Like the average sports bettor, the public, the sheep, they generally bet on like the top 5 or 6 teams in every league, across the different leagues. They bet their hometown team, and they bet like the top 5 or 6 teams. So the reason I brought up the fact that I put my season on the line today with the 3-8 team is because, theoretically that would be something that you would never do unless you had like some inside knowledge, aka this system that we use, which is so accurate, we can back the worst teams in these leagues, NFL, MLB, NBA, confidently, and it doesn't really bother us to back a team that's 10 or 5 games below 500. It doesn't sway our decision making because of what we understand and how these professional sports are scripted.
Yeah, exactly. Again, Victor and I we didn't even talk this week, but I was assuming that Victor probably had the same thought as me, that this was the game of the week. The Panthers were an underdog with all kinds of value, and I've told you guys a million times in these live streams, when there's a 38 ritual going on with Colorado, that hits almost every single time. And, of course, it hit again. And there was more than just the 38. There was all sorts of things that lined up for the Panthers today. So,
yes, there was. And, it was a great guess to assume what pick I was going to go with, because that was 100% the game that I decided to go with. There was a lot. See, that's another thing, too. Like with Gematria, you have to you chase value, right? So every single week, even people who use this system, Gematria, a lot of times they use it to back these large money line favorites, which isn't really profitable over a long period of time. Me, myself, though, I'm constantly looking for plus money value, or, we like a small money line favorite. But like the last couple of weeks, I say the last 3 or 4 weeks, we backed nothing but underdogs. If it wasn't an underdog before the game started, we caught it in game at a live underdog price. And I bring that up to say is like today, for example, the Baltimore Ravens, they were a huge money line favorite. They had some Gematria on their side, but they were a huge money line, almost minus $220. And that became Vegas's biggest moneymaker today, a.k.a. the Parlay Buster. The Jacksonville Jaguars defeated the Baltimore Ravens. And
so it's that was the first. I got it. So they fell to 7-4 in Jacksonville 74. But did you know that today is actually one of these weird holidays that's called Lawrence Day?
No, I did not.
Yeah, today's Lawrence Day, so Trevor Lawrence wins.
Trevor Lawrence.
On Lawrence Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. That would have been great to know, definitely. But yeah, man, again, a lot of things that you've been preaching going back as far as 5-6 years ago, they still remain super true today. There's a lot of principles that you taught us. That I still operate 100%. I implemented some of my own tweaks and I just using what you've been putting out there. But everybody wants to be spoon-fed, and I'm totally on board with you not doing the call-in show because I think your time could be used better and wisely in other areas. And honestly, people don't even really appreciate it, Zach. The value that you provide for $5 and now to commit to hours and hours of live call-in shows, it's really, really ridiculous when you think about it.
It is, and people don't appreciate it, and that's why it's just like, you know, I really should charge more, but I always do it. I always think about the person like Cousin Mar out there who goes from homeless to having a job and getting off the streets off the knowledge. He probably doesn't get in if it's not $5 a month. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of busters in the world, and I just, you know, that's why I just don't even read the comments, because like I don't want to hear from these idiots. I mean, you know, so.
Yeah, but you know, I'll always give you a due credit. Definitely, I appreciate the effort that you put in from the beginning up until now. You still remain true to the cause. And, you know, for anybody that's recently coming across this work that's new, or that might come across this video and has some skepticism or some questions, I implore you to go check out, you know, some of Zach's work previously, as well as my work right now. You know, Zach is called bunch of futures.
Here, Victor, I got to interrupt. Just for all the people in the chat saying, this is why we need the live streams again to get Lawrence Day. Again, I'll say to you guys, this is why you should be following people in the community. Like Green Arrow, who came out to Wisconsin. He's the guy who posted this morning. He posted this before the game was played. But again, also in the time, notice you guys, in the time I have not done any live streams, it's been a winning week every single week. So I understand that there's some games where had we shared some information, we might have won even more, but you know what? Had we been taking those calls that we've been getting, I bet you would have come off a lot of good picks that I put out. So again, just look at the facts. Winning every single week by not taking any calls. And that speaks for itself right there. Again, the calls are not helpful to me at this point, so that's also why I'm not doing it. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's a lot of repeat, rinse and repeat. And yeah, again, it's very, very time consuming. But yeah, definitely, just to reiterate a lot of the points that Zach said, I'm going to get off right now. But the NFL is been nothing but, you know, a bag. You know, I've been calling every month, last month, Bagtober, this month, Breadvember. We killing them, we destroying them. Gematria is definitely very, very accurate. It works. And don't let people take you off for that. And Zach, I'll let you go on with the show, but I appreciate you, brother.
All right, Victor, keep up the great work. You guys, Mr. Futures is Victor's YouTube channel. Mr. Period Futures, no spaces, and he's doing great work.
Yeah, and I'm in a different time zone, calling these games in a different time zone. So there's nothing that should be able to stop anybody from anywhere. You can decode from a bathroom in freaking Germany. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, keep it up, Vic.
All right.
All right, so Vic's got, you know, he met a sweet lady in this community. He's got his own Patreon. So I mean, you know, you think about all the people that are out there haters, and then you look at a guy like Victor, and it's like, why are there haters? I mean, your story could be Victor's. You met yourself a sweet lady. You've improved your financial position. You know, again, this work's brought a lot of people together. And, you know, it's just like, there was one of these supposed Christians online who makes videos about me, who calls me a gatekeeper, but then teaches Gematria exactly like how I taught him and how he learned from me. You know, I invited him to come on and talk, and he just deleted my comment. You know, other people responded, and then he just deletes the comments. Like, what kind of guy is this? Well, what's up, 757?
Hey, what up, Zach? This is Stacks, man. You know I'm on the Patreon.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, man, I know you've seen my comments in the comments section, man. I totally disagree with not having the live decodes. Definitely.
So what do you disagree on? Every week? All right, so tell me if this is true. True or false? Every week since I haven't had a live stream, I put out nothing but winning information.
Well, what's your motive?
To help people win? To help people win?
Are you trying to give out winning picks, or are you trying to teach the knowledge?
I am teaching the knowledge. All the information and the thought processes and all that work. I mean, that's hours of work put out every week.
Okay. Hours? How many hours? 3 hours? Maybe perhaps during
3 hours? Not even close. Do you know how long it takes to go through all that information each week? Just the football alone. The football alone every week takes about at least 12 hours. At least 12 hours a week for the football information. So that's times 4 weeks. So that's 48 hours of research.
I know. It's worth it, though.
And then all the basketball every day? That's hours every day. So, I mean, so for the person who pays $5 a month, they get about like 100 hours of labor out of me a month.
Right. I'm saying you don't have to do that if we do the live streams, because it's more people. It's a classroom. We chime in, we learn, we have people call in that think they're doing something.
Well, when I do the live streams, I still do all the work, and then it's additional time. I'm not going off other people's decodes. I mean, you listen to people; they can't even get the decodes right. I keep telling them to stop using StatMuse for quarterback records because it has their backup games, and you don't want those in there. People are always leaving the same comment. Zach, let's know what StatMuse had. I'm like, well, every week I'm telling you guys to stop using StatMuse for QB stats, so I'm not going off other people's decodes.
Zach, it's not about other people's decodes. Are you using the picks? You're not using the picks yourself. We're learning. We're learning from you. We're learning from other people. You don't have the time to devote all this time. So your picks are not gonna be the best. First of all,
they've been good every single week. They've been winning information. If you read through that information, if you read through those information, the games I like, none of those games are missing. The games where I say I like, those games are all coming through. All right, I'm moving on. That guy could be one of the trolls on the picture. I don't want to hear anymore. No. Don't come on and tell me how to run the thing and act like you want to learn. We're not learning from any of the calls I've been getting lately on Patreon. It's like, guy calls up, he's like, oh, hold on, I forgot my notebook. And then it's just like, what? I didn't even get, no. There's a reason that I'm not taking calls anymore. The calling has just gone like this. So I don't got time for it. Appreciate what I'm putting out for $5 a month. If you don't appreciate it, move on. If you can't win with every week, you guys, all right, games I like, they're not missing. They're coming through every week, So it just gets annoying. What's up, Itachi? Itachi?
But my backup account's muted. Got my main account deleted on the 330th day of the year. I think the cabal was just that's enough. But yeah, just working on the backup channel. I don't mind that you don't do the call-in show. I know you were talking about when you hear about other people's stuff, it messes it up. But I just want to really give you a heads up that you might not see me around for a while just because I can't comment in your channel. It won't show up. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Itachi, hang in there, man.
All right, man.
All right, see ya.
ya.
Okay. Yeah, the trolls hanging around all the time are so annoying. Indecisive picks aren't picks. Again, when there's 16 games and there's between, in a week of 16 games, there'll be between usually 2 and 5 games that I like. A bunch I'll write close call, and usually I'll be on the right side of the close call, but all the games that I write that I like, all of those have been coming through. And again, if you're too dumb to decipher between, I like this game for all these reasons, and this game's a close call, so be careful of this one. If you're too dumb to read and understand what's written very clearly, that's not on me. That's not on me. That's on, go back to first grade, second grade, get a little reading comprehension, learn what I like means versus this game's a close call. That should be pretty intuitive. So, what's up, man?
Hey, Zach. How are you doing this Sunday evening, man?
Doing all right. Did you hear what I said earlier about stop deleting your streams?
Yeah, so that's what I'm calling about. YouTube either blocks some of the streams or it puts it in the private automatically. And I keep changing it, but they keep changing it to private. And it ultimately makes it, or something to do with, is it not suitable for children or something, so only specific people can come in? YouTube keeps changing my settings.
Yeah, it is annoying. I agree. I have noticed settings change. I've had that happen to some of my videos, too. It's funny they're doing it to you so much. I'll constantly click the thing to not filter comments, and then I'll go back, and somehow it's been selected to filter inappropriate comments. It's like, okay, I already unchecked that and clicked submit, so how did it get back on that? I agree. YouTube is just a goofy platform, so.
Yeah, actually, currently right now, I'm in the process of making episode 12. But yeah, I just wanted to call in and just kind of be like, man, I'm trying to do workout live streams and stuff, and some days I get everyone to come in, like Itachi will come in, and Rick James, and you, or Amanda, or Amy, I mean, crack their code. And there's other days where it won't be anybody, and it's because it was put into private. And I'm like, oh, I might as well just delete it, because no one's going to see it anyway. So,
what you need to, are you doing your videos on a phone? Are you doing your videos on a phone or a computer?
The episodes go through the computer, me just bullshitting around.
Well, you can always change it back to public after they do that. You just have to go into the video settings and change it back to public.
Yeah, I do that, and sometimes it still doesn't do it, and then it goes through this processing thing. It takes all day to process the whole video. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? Because it doesn't do that from the computer. It only does it from my phone.
Yeah.
Where it'll process literally the whole day. And so when you click on it, yeah, it gives you the wheel of death. That's probably what's going on, and that's been an issue. I don't know what else to do. I just know it's just YouTube fucking with my shit. That's cool. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of let you know what is going on my end.
Okay. Well, just try to go in the settings and change them back to public, because you should be able to do that.
I do that all the time. Literally right before I stream, I make sure it's public, and then it goes through the processing thing, and it shows that it went to private. I don't know why it does that. It did. It used to do it to Itachi. He told me it used to happen to him all the time too. I don't know what it is, man.
If you download the app YouTube Studio, you can also change it in there quickly from private to public.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do have that on the phone. I guess I'll check that out too right now, actually. But yeah, thank you for letting me know what's going on, because sometimes I don't notice. I do want to say something weird, because D26 and I are 3 days apart, birthday-wise, and the new moon was on the 23rd, which was my birthday. In the Chesapeake shooting, that's where I was born, was in Chesapeake, Virginia, and I was born on Black Friday.
Huh.
And I literally used to live right down the street from that Walmart.
Huh.
Like, yeah, a walking distance from that Walmart. So I kind of find it pretty funny that happened there on that day, because that's the day I technically was born, was on Black Friday.
Well, for everyone who doesn't know, Truth Vibration Podcast, he is doing good work. A lot of times it's getting taken down, but I think he's going to get it fixed. And another person to support in the community. So,
yeah, get your workout in, everybody. It's important, especially when the days are short like this.
Indeed. All right, man.
You have a good night. I'll keep listening.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Yep.
Right, see you. Yeah, Truth Vibration Podcast. He does do a lot of work, but it mostly all just disappears. So hopefully that changes. Okay, and again, if you guys do want to call in, it is that line on the screen. Thank you to CP3. He said, world of people with negative IQs, we went from children to the corn to children of the high fructose corn. Don't bother with these trolls, Zach. Appreciate that. Indeed. What's up, 607?
Yo, Zach. I just wanted to go over the Panthers-Broncos game a little bit and just put an emphasis on that most pure cipher that you always talk about.
Sure.
And on the scoreboard, the score became 3-20. And Broncos, on the scoreboard, the Broncos were first. Like you always have.
So like 3-2, like Broncos and Denver both 32.
Yeah, the score was 3-20, and Denver and Broncos is 32. And Panthers is obviously 38, and the Panthers came into the game 3-8.
and then the Broncos.
And just for the record, for people who don't know, we saw this coming weeks ago. We said it won't be a surprise if the Broncos end up being 3-8 versus the Panthers. Both teams left 38. Russell Wilson went to the Broncos on 3-8. His dad died in connection to that state. I mean, you can just see these rituals coming a mile away. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, you said it. Russell Wilson traded on 3-8 and to the 38th state, and Colorado equals 38. And I mean, it's amazing how almost nobody knows this information. Like, if you were to survey like everybody that was in an NFL stadium today, probably none of them know about Gematria. How is that the case in 2022? Like, yeah, it just blows my mind, and it really just pisses me off too. Like, to think that nobody knows about this stuff, and just to think about that if people actually did know about this stuff, the world could maybe actually change. Because the Panthers' first Super Bowl was Super Bowl 38, and their second Super Bowl was against the Broncos, and it happened on the 38th day of the year.
Right.
And it was Super Bowl 50, and it happened in San Francisco, and San Francisco equals 50. It's just, and that's all
and they're known for the gold rush, and gold equals 38 as well. It was the golden anniversary of the Super Bowl. Colorado's the land of the mountains where gold is. That's why I saw this ritual coming a million miles away. And that's why I got this hate piece from the USA Today's big lead about Super Bowl 50 that's still up on their website about me. So,
and the Charlotte college team is the Charlotte
49ers. George Seifert went from the Niners to the Panthers.
Right, yeah, George Seifert. And the college in Charlotte, it's on, I believe, Highway 49. I mean, it's just undeniable. And then in this Buccaneers-Browns game, you have the game tied at 17 in the 17th state, and LeBron traded from the 17th state on 1/7. And then, I mean, it's just, there's like a mountain of evidence. Like, how isn't this gaining any traction in the world? But here, going back to this Buccaneers game, the play that tied the game at 17, that play started with 37 seconds in the game, and Buccaneers equals 37. And it's week 12, and 37 is the 12th prime. But Tristan Wirfs, once the game got to overtime, one of the Buccaneers' best offensive linemen, it's Tristan Wirfs.
Just for the record, though, that's why the ridiculous catches every week are just dumb to watch now. They're not even interesting, and it's like, are they the magnetic gloves, or is it just that those gloves are so grippy? But, yeah, for people who didn't see the touchdown that the Browns tied it up with on 4th and 10 late in the game, I mean, it's another ridiculous catch. And back in the day, catches like that, I mean, they happen like once a season. Now they happen 10 times a Sunday. I mean, it's a bullet over the middle where the receiver has to reach up and extend back and just snags it down like it's nothing. I mean, that never happened back in the day, but these gloves are super grippy. But yeah, you guys can even watch. They are selling. You can buy it out there. You can buy the magnetic glove that goes with the ball, and it makes me wonder, is that what these guys are also wearing? Because they're making these catches look easier than ever.
There has to be something. I mean, it's clearly rigged somehow. But the best offensive lineman of the Buccaneers, he's number 78. And 78 is the 12th triangular number. So if you just add 1 through 12, it equals 78. He gets carted off in overtime. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to check Tristan Wirfs' stat page. And sure enough, it's 307 days after his birthday. I'm like, really? He's going to get carted off 307 days? After the play to tie it starts with 37 seconds and Buccaneers is 37, and he wears number 78, and it's week 12. And Ohio State loses yesterday with 45, and Tom Brady's 45 years old.
Well, the beauty of that was the 45 points in the Michigan win. So the Ohio State coach stayed on 45 career wins, and 45's the 9th triangular, and it ended the winning streak of 9 games over Michigan on that field. So it's another example of 45-9. And again, Ohio State falls to 11-1 in their 111th season. So
it's just undeniable. And just one thing, like off the topic of sports, just local news, like local in the area here. There was a story last December where some guy gets stabbed to death, and they have an article on that, like the local press has an article, and the guy that gets stabbed, they show a picture of that guy from November 4th, and November 4th is the 308th day of the year. They're really going to use the picture. They're going to put a picture of the guy from the 308th day of the year, like before he died, in the article.
That's how they do it, day after day, day after day. So.
But it gets worse. Like the guy that kills the guy, like the murderer, he ends up dying like a year later on the 308th day of the year. The same day he dies, he dies in jail on the 308th day of the year. And this is just a local story. It's like, so they're clearly doing shit like local too. And it's just fucking a joke, man. Because there's it's just like they live. Like there has to be like people that clearly know what's going on, but they just don't say anything about it. It's like they're selling everyone else out by not saying anything about what they know. Like they're selling out humanity.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So.
And have a good rest of the day.
All right, man. Keep it up. Take care.
All right.
See you.
Peace.
By the way, he's a big Carolina Panthers fan, so he's happy with the Rig W today. Here, I'm going to show you guys something. Again, I was up late the night that the Chesapeake, Virginia Walmart shooting happened, and as soon as I put up my tweet about... Here, actually, hold on. Let me go back to my Twitter page and show you how this unfolded. Let me scroll back here. Wasn't too many tweets ago, was it? It wasn't that one. It was when it first broke. It was this. Okay, so I said the propaganda isn't coded. This is the first detail. Mom, please go Biden. Again, when the news broke about Virginia shooting, this was CNN's lead story. This text message from Betsy Umflet, whose name equals mass shooting in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. And just for the person who's new here, again, let me put up the base ciphers. Betsy Umflet, and again, who has the name Betsy anymore? It's old school. Woo! Must got some dust on me. All right, Betsy Umflet and mass shooting, the exact same 51, 165, 66, right? This is CNN's lead story, and again, this was on the anniversary of the JFK shooting, who died at age 46. The text message just happens to mention Biden, number 46, the nation's second Catholic president. And then just that phrase, Mom, please go Biden, which kind of has like a subliminal with a let's go Brandon. And Mom, please go Biden. You see how it's 74 in the most pure, just like Chesapeake 74. We just had that other huge shooting ritual in Chesapeake with the Cavaliers, and the news broke on Charles' 74th birthday, and those who fought for King Charles were Cavaliers. But it also has the 277 encoded in it, which is the 59th prime number, and it was the 59-year anniversary of JFK's killing, and John F. Kennedy 59, and Biden the winner of the 59th presidential election, and blah, blah, blah. There's even more to say about these numbers up here. But it's just like, okay, what are the odds that Biden's even mentioned in the text message? And it's obviously supposed to be an auto text, right? It's supposed to be like, Mom, please go hide or something. And you think you would just write hide. And here, let me, just to make it bigger. Betsy Umflet says, I'm at Walmart and there's an active shooter in the store. First of all, who's using the terminology of active shooter? Active shooter equals 74 like Chesapeake, like Mom, please go Biden. What Walmart? Mom, battlefield, somebody's dead on the floor. I mean, these just don't sound like text messages from a Betsy. Oh my God, Mom, can you go hide, please? I text little Johnny. I'm sure. I text little Johnny. He didn't answer me. He was the first one that popped up. Mom, please go Biden. And then, you got the CNN story. And then the next thing they're showing you after this is the guy telling you the story who then winks at the camera. It's like, oh, this is just looking all kinds of legit. So now we have the winking witness who winks into the camera. I mean, can you just say that like human body language? Supposedly you just witnessed a mass shooting, and after you get done telling the story cool and calm and collected as ever, then you wink into the camera? I mean, come on. But again, just the encoding of the ritual. So anyway, I'm talking about this, right? I'm talking about this, and then hold on. Pretty sure it's a typo. Somebody says like, okay, little Johnny, of course, Bucks gets it. Hold on, where did she get? Oh, I can't see him anymore because she blocked me. That's funny. So when somebody blocks you, all their messages, or the tweet was deleted by the tweeter author. So all these ones that were deleted were this girl spamming away that I was a troll and a weirdo, and weirdos like me don't respect the tragedy. And I was like, is this some troll account or is this a real person? Like, how do these people even find my thing? Like, God, nobody, it's funny, I've gotten to 20,000 now, like 50 times, and then it drops back down to 19.9. It's like it won't let me surpass 20,000. It's doing the same thing YouTube likes to do, unsubscribes people. That's what's so annoying about all these big tech platforms. They'll do the same thing. Nothing's changed since Elon Musk has taken over. We know what a little Jesuit puppet he is. But anyway, so I looked at the girl's account who's writing all these messages, and then I look, and it looks like she's a real person because she just has tons of posts about how she's got all the Taylor Swift concerts, and she was in line all day to get more Taylor Swift concerts, and she's got more Taylor Swift tickets, and then she's also at some Lil Nas X concert. But I noticed she's like posting all this stuff, right? And she doesn't have any likes. She doesn't have any reshares. So I thought, like, how sad, like this lady's on Twitter all day. She's trying to fit in. She's trying to, like, look at me. I got more Taylor Swift concert tickets. And so anyway, I was like, okay, so she's a real person. She's like starving for attention. And so anyway, here, I could have been nicer to her, but I sent her a message, right? This is the girl who ended up blocking me. Sassy Cassie, SF. She's in the Bay Area. So I wrote to her, I just decided to send her a message because I was like, okay, she's going ballistic on my post. And I wrote, notice, Sassy, you spam away all day, so desperate to fit in by making yourself part of the trashy tabloid culture, and no one cares. And she must know what I'm saying because she's spamming away all day and she doesn't have a single like on any of her comments, but she's posting all day. Be glad I gave you some attention. I see you're desperate for it. And FYI, if you want to be noticed, be unique, not a stereotype. And again, I mean every word I said because what is with these people? Like, who gives a shit? Do you need to post 100 comments that you got Taylor Swift tickets? I mean, God. So then she writes, Happy Thanksgiving, sir. I said, DMX won't have one because one of her recent posts was at the Lil Nas X concert. I said, DMX won't have one. Remember, he died on Lil Nas X's birthday. And notice, oblivious people like you support openly satanic individuals and call people like me who are exposing evil trolls. She was spamming all over my post that I was a troll. Happy Thanksgiving, ignoramus. So she writes, openly satanic, LOL. No, most of us don't believe in any of that heaven and hell nonsense. We follow science. I'm sure she's had her slave muzzle on all year. Like the educated generation we are. No one I know goes to church or reads the Bible because it's a load of crap. I love gay people. I love everything you consider to be a sin. So move on harassing someone who might buy your nonsense. It's not me. So she's making all these assumptions that I'm religious. And again, I'm just talking about how Lil Nas X put out Satan shoes. So I wrote back, why did Lil Nas X create Satan shoes with Luke 10:18 on them? Why 666 pairs? Again, if you guys don't know about this, it's all facts. Lil Nas X put out 666 pairs of Satan shoes with real blood in the soles with Luke 18, which is the verse where Satan comes to earth. And I wrote, FYI, I'm not religious, but the people who rule over us are. They are telling you what they are about. They are satanic. It means they have chosen greed over what is right. So then she writes back, do I look like Lil Nas X? It's like, well, you should know why I'm writing this. One of your most recent tweets is you at the Lil Nas X concert that has no likes or anything. Why the fuck would I know? It's just like, okay, so now she's going to play oblivious. You're a fan. I just went to dance to Old Town Road like the rest of us. No one mentions Satan or gives a fuck about his shoes. You're really weird for combing through my profile. Again, I looked just like through the top 15 posts just real quick because it was all Taylor Swift and Lil Nas X. So anyway, and again, it's like, I'm weird. You're the one spamming on my page and about talking shit to me. I didn't go to your page. That's why. But this woman just reminds me of humanity. It's like, okay, you came at me talking shit, and now I'm just trying to chime in and say, listen, I'm not a troll, and I'm not here just trying to desecrate a tragedy. I'm trying to get people to wake up to what's going on. So anyway, she writes, you're really weird for combing through my profile. Why wouldn't you post my Taylor Swift video because she wrote an album called Red? Is she a Satan worshiper too? Yeah, obviously not. So I wrote back to her, I said, it was a mainstream news story. Look up his Satan shoes. You're going to his show, so I thought as a fan you would be aware. Be careful who you are supporting. And as for Taylor Swift, go back and see what Bob Dylan said on 60 Minutes years ago about having to sell your soul to make it in the industry. So I imagine that would apply to Taylor Swift too. So then she writes back, I definitely know about the shoes. Oh, so now she knows about the shoes. But I could care less. In fact, I think it's funny he triggered a bunch of Bible bangers. It was a joke, and when Nike was unhappy about it, they were canceled. It wasn't even Nike who made the shoes. I don't wear men's shoes, so it has no impact on my life. You sound pretty unhinged. I'm going to exit stage left. It's like, what did I write that was unhinged? You know what I mean? But ultimately, this is what we're up against, you guys. This is humanity. Sassy Cassie represents humanity. She shows up on my page talking all kinds of shit. I didn't really say anything too rude to her. I mean, maybe my first comment was kind of rude because I said, notice, Sassy, you spam away all day, so desperate to fit in by making yourself part of the trashy tabloid culture and no one cares. But that was also a true statement because if you look at her page, you'll see that's exactly what's going on. And, but again, I was just like, well, if she's so interested in spamming away on my page about what a troll and asshole I am, let me see if I private message her, if I can break through this barrier she has. But look, she ends up blocking me for just making logical point after logical point, and then also like leaves by, again, kind of like referring to me as a Bible banger where I just said I'm not religious. But at the same time, she'll go to Lil Nas X's concert who's putting out Satan shoes and just saying, oh, that's just a joke. Again, it's just like America. This person represents America. This is the same moron I've been dealing with in humanity since I was 18 years old and 9/11 happened. It's like they lose the argument on every point, and then they like don't acknowledge that, and then they just make some other stupid comment. And I know that's why a lot of people end up just getting frustrated and giving up on trying to wake people up. But again, the day we do give up is the day that we are. That's the day it is absolutely over. So anyhow. But yeah, I mean, it's just, and then go figure that she's from San Francisco. And I'm sure she has had her slave muzzle all year, and she's probably triple vaccinated. And, before long, she'll probably be in the obituaries. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, yeah, it's just amazing, though. It's like, okay, you're going to come on and attack me for the information I'm sharing? And she's like, her comments were like, are you dumb? It was obvious that it's an autocorrect. It's like, am I dumb? Am I dumb? Are you questioning why that's CNN's lead story? I mean, can you imagine that there's a mass shooting at a Walmart and the thing that CNN leads with is Betsy Umflit's text message? I mean, come on, man. Am I dumb? That's the other thing that gets so annoying. It gets so annoying. Yeah, CP3, I appreciate the super chat. Lemming indeed. So. You sound unhinged from telling you to go look up the 60 Minutes interview. How is that unhinged? Shout out to Sarah Sutherland. She does it again. Sarah, I appreciate you a lot, but really, you don't ever have to make another donation. So, she must have just tuned in. The good news is, Sarah, you can go back. There's a lot more stream to watch. You guys, if anybody else wants to call in, the line is open. It is the 509 number on the score in the corner of the screen. If we got more calls, we'll keep it going. If not, doesn't look like there's any other breaking news. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover in recent days. Shout out to Sarah, Jesse, CDP, Shahad, Isaiah, John, who all made some cash apps during the stream. I do appreciate it. And yeah, by the way, people have also been asking me, have Dane Calloway and I collaborated yet? We have not, but we've been talking in the background, and he says he's been planning out the way to introduce the knowledge to his community. So there will be a Dane Calloway and I collaboration. I think part of our problem is we're both busy, but it is coming. What's up, 720?
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
I used to call you on CFO, get some of the brothers say you on and on and on and don't let me talk. And you're very right about that. So I apologize, but I just tuned in now, in your show right now. But what am I telling you about the subplot and main plot? I think a lot was agitating. Remember, I told you, you're on that subplot avenue with all that chaos. It gets to you, brother. It's like you're chopping snakes' heads off, and another one pops up. And like you said, when you're dealing with a subplot, or the tree of knowledge, all good and evil, well, that's what I mean. It brings more chaos, and every time you try to look for a solution or an answer, it's like, damn, man, these guys are not getting it. And I feel your pain, brother. So I'm the opposite, teaching the tree of life, the Torah, that's how we feel. It's like, hey, can you come in, do a Shabbat, come hang out, have some kiddish wine with us, be a blessing. So a lot of people, nah, I don't want to do that Sabbath thing. I'm not about that. Which we understand, but that's how I feel a lot too. I'm trying to teach people Torah principles, which brings life to you. Switch it up, get out of the tree. So, well, before I go on, do you have anything you want to say? Because you always say I ran on up, but go ahead.
Yeah, again, instead of just what's something you teach people that's helpful from your religious background?
Can you repeat that question one more time? I didn't hear the first piece.
You said you like to give people information because you're trying to help them out. So what's something that you're giving to people that's helpful?
Okay, well, firstly, when you're in the Torah, I always see, when God says do a Sabbath, he means shut everything down for the week. Spend time with your family. Do something that's invest in your family. So get away from the world for 6 days. That's why you have a good Sabbath meal, invite friends, have some kiddish cups. And that's a lot of things with Christianity. Well, I can't drink that wine. I'm going to hell and this and that. See, in the Hebrew concept, we don't look at it that way. It's like enjoy, drink, and be merry. You're going to be fine. For this day, you'll be blessed. And that's another thing. When priests and kings, you drink wine, that's a royal drink. So we look at it that way. But, I always too, we have a lot of problem with Christians. It's the problem they're in. They're in the realm of death. And basically, that's what I teach them. If you just do a Sabbath with a wedding ring of God, it will bring a blessing to you. Shut everything down, enjoy with your family. But they say, no, I can't do that. So then they want to talk about a rapture, or I'm just going to go to another planet, another place. Or they say, well, we're under the law, we'll do that. Or, if I do that, I'm going to hell. And the Hebrew concept, it doesn't make any sense. It's like even I teach them, well, you believe in 6 days work, don't you? Oh, yeah, absolutely, you got to work. So, okay, but that came out of the Torah. God said work. So you don't work, you don't eat. So it makes logical sense, right? And that's why a lot of the Torah, these are just principles of life. And, so, a lot of people agree with that. Or honor your mother and father, or be respectful, to others, love others, bless others, which is the thing that you should do. But there's so much more, like even the clothing that you wear, like another teaching, like wear cotton wool and linen as a man, it gives you positive energy, when you put it on your body. So if you're wearing polyester, mixed hybrid clothing, sometimes that's why you get negative signals and positive signals because of the clothing that you're wearing. So there's a lot of things that we learn out of the Torah that, brings blessing to you that can change your life. So that's what I teach, basically these principles will bring life to you. And I understand when you talk about Hasidic Jews, Orthodox Jews, there's you have Baptists, Catholics. There are different sects that branch off, kind of doing part of the Torah to have truth. But they're all on tangent trails too. And that's why I said I like listening to you. You expose the subplot so beautifully and you lay it out. I mean, that's what really, pissing a lot of people off. So keep doing what you're doing. As I told you many times, you know it's on your calling. So stick with it. And then, God will be with you. He'll keep blessing you on that path. So never give up and never quit. And
I honestly want to say that. I don't know if it is my calling. I don't know if it is my calling because there's other things I would rather be doing. It's just I don't see any, because that's what it was. I mean, for years I was like, when is somebody going to step up and actually talk about what's really going on and expose what's really going on and figure out what's really going on? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's my calling, but I there's a lot of things I'd rather be doing in this life than what I am doing now. I'd rather be teaching in a classroom Monday through Friday and helping out young children. But again, the education system's so broken. I mean, okay, so yeah, I like what you just said about clothes. Okay, so you've given us two good things that people should spend more time with the family. I totally agree. Wear cotton. And what else? I agree with you. I'm wearing cotton. What were the other things you said to wear? Linens.
Three clothing that a priest or king should wear, or a man created by God, is cotton, wool, and linen.
Okay, wool makes me itch personally.
Fibers that came from earth that if you put on your body on man, is they're compatible. You know, dust we came from, dust this legal body will go back to when you die, when your soul leaves.
Okay. I like those two tips. Give us one more tip for the day. A third thing that people should do that'll also help out their well-being.
Well, the third thing, it's very simple and easy, but it's called kosher eating, and that goes in 70 layers deep too. God defined what was food on the earth and what's not food. So he knows what is good for a body of man and what's obviously a man shouldn't put in their body. So, there's like certain things. If a fish doesn't have scales, if it's slippery, it's slimery, God said don't eat it, leave it alone. Why? Because they're filter cleaners. They clean up the rivers, they clean up the bottom of the ocean, right? And that's what they were created to do. So God said, don't eat the vacuum cleaner bag. Leave the vacuum cleaner bag alone. Just don't put it in your body. So, and then the same thing with, unclean animals. Like a pig is a vacuum cleaner, eats anything off the earth, anything you'll give it. So it's the same thing. So it just shows you, don't eat the vacuum cleaner bag. Don't put it in your body. It could cause, disease, all kinds of stuff in your body that can harm you. And you can eat it, right? Anything on this earth. But God discern what is food, is defined food, and what is not food. And, that's just simple things, like cucumbers, leeks, onions, garlic, olive oil.
Okay, well, I think those are great tips, and I do appreciate that. And I'm going to let somebody else get on, just because I don't have too much more time on here. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Zach, be blessed.
Yeah, you too. 971.
I'm here to talk to
Hello?
Are you a screener? Yeah.
You're on.
I want to talk to the man.
Okay.
Zachary. As soon as possible.
What? You got to speak more clearly. What did you just say?
I would like to talk to Zachary K. Hubbard.
That's who you're on the phone with.
Excellent. How are we doing?
Doing the live stream. What's your call about?
Well, I want to talk to him about, efforting toward, more than just numbers.
Okay. Say what's on your mind.
Well, who are you?
Okay. Yeah, probably just a troll. So blocked. By the way, you guys, so I'll tell you the downside of my Thanksgiving. So again, I went to my buddy Token Tim's, and one of his siblings' families, they're all very heavy. They like to eat. And you know how I said it's better to just not even eat any junk food? I wish I had taken my own advice, and I tried to not eat any, but at the end, the heavyset family had brought a cake with them, and they insisted everybody have a piece of cake, and it was homemade, and they made it. And, they served us all a piece of cake. And it's a mother, a father, and their 14-year-old son. And it's amazing. Last year, the 14-year-old was 13, and he was like 5 feet tall. This year, he's like 6'4" and huge. He's like an NFL lineman. But anyway, when they served the cake and we started to eat, the 14-year-old laughed and he said, "You have no idea how much sugar we put in this cake." Man, I got the worst stomach ache. I was annoyed. I was like, why do people do this to themselves? How much sugar did they put in here? 732?
Hey, Zach, I just caught the beginning of your live stream. you were mentioning how Donald Trump got the commemorative shekel to raise money for the Third Temple.
Right.
And he was the 50th election, Jerusalem, Solomon's Temple, Third Temple, 58.
Right.
Well, he could be with the 47th president.
Yeah,
and
he could.
Foundation equals 47.
Yeah, that's true. That's
so we
true.
really could see the Third Temple being talked about during the 47th presidency. Like, seriously.
Yeah, well, the other thing is if he becomes number 48 as well, if Biden doesn't finish his term, that's the year Israel was established, 48, right? So, big Illuminati number.
And then, my whole idea, if, they're eventually going to crash America eventually, just like any other empire head they've had over a couple thousand years. I would assume that they use the same numbers in the founding of the country as they would the destruction of it. So, like, would April 7th be a good day for the destruction of America anytime?
Like the reflection of July 4th?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. That is interesting. I mean, it's possible. So.
What's April 7th? What day of the year is it again?
It's the 97th day of the year. Remember, that's the day that Trump and Biden got their first Supreme Court judges in, and Supreme equals 97. It's the 25th prime. Judge and Trump are both 47 and 25. So.
Death, 97. Death is 97.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in a leap year, it's the 98th day of the year.
Right.
Like prophecy.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe something to that. All right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Take care, man. Thanks. Going out to the beach. What's up, Astoria, Oregon?
I'm looking at Zachary K. Hubbard.
Oh, my God.
From Seaside, Oregon. My name is Anne Franklin.
Did you just call in a minute ago, or is this a different caller?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this LAF?
But
this is LAF, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you called in a minute ago, and I said you're talking to me, and you continued to say, I want to talk to Zachary Hubbard. That's who you're talking to.
Well, if he's still taking calls.
So I don't understand why you're not responding to what I keep telling you. I am him. I don't know why you keep saying if he's taking calls. I got to be honest, LAF. It seems like you mean well, but I can never make out your comments. They always seem like they're. And now you're calling in. I'm like, well, it doesn't surprise me. This is what she sounds like.
Well, yeah, because I keep trying, and you're not responding.
I'm not responding. I've said you're on. You're talking to me, and you keep going I want to talk to Zachary Hubbard.
He had screeners.
Okay. Okay, LAF, you are on the phone talking to me. What do you want to say to the community? Drugs are banned?
To Zachary K. Hubbard.
Okay.
And,
Goodbye, LAF. Man, I'm glad that person finally called in, because their comments are impossible to understand, and now it's okay, now it's all making sense.
I'm very plain and simple.
Okay, so what do you want to call in and say?
Well, I'd like to talk to Zachary about, the winter weather.
I can't do this. All right, 347.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, good evening to everybody. Zach, real quick, I'm trying to keep on, just going to make it quick. I just had a question, and I wanted to see your point of view. And you probably touched it when you did some of your lives on Kanye West and stuff.
Can you figure out how to make your volume louder real quick? Can you figure out how to make your volume louder?
My phone?
Yeah.
What about now? Can you hear me now?
That's better.
All right, Zach. Real quick, I've been just really big fan of you and the community and the work you're doing. I wanted to find out or know your perspective on the Kanye West thing, but not what everybody's asking. I wanted to ask you directly: do you think that this is just a scapegoat for something else, or you believe that he's sincerely trying to expose the industry? And it's just a question from an expert like you that I wanted to ask.
No, he's not sincerely trying to do anything. He's doing what he is as a puppet on strings. It's all a ritual to remind people why you don't talk about the you-know-whos or you'll get censored. I mean, if you guys, you missed my video on it. I had an hour-long video on it, and it got taken down for hate speech, and there was no hate speech in it.
Right. And I missed that video, and you mentioned that it got taken down, and that's why I want to see, like, it's the fact that doesn't it look like he's actually leaning towards unmasking the industry, or is just part of everything, you know?
Like I said, he's just doing what he's told. He's a puppet on strings. Like, I mean, he comes out and says, my mom was sacrificed. And then it's just amazing. It's just like his fans are still cheering for him. And it's just like, he's pretty much telling you that he sacrificed his mom. And again, I'm explaining to you why he did it on the 15-year anniversary of his death, or her death. Kanye West equals Illuminati and Gematria. They both equal 120. That's the 15th triangular number. He tells it on the 15-year anniversary and on 1/5. And the next thing you know, he's over at Trump's house who just announced he's running for president again on 1/5. Or on the 15th of November, I mean. Again, I mean, you can just, that's why you have the knowledge that I have. You see why these stories come out the day they do. I talked about how years ago, Rolling Stone had the picture of Kanye on the cover that said the passion of Kanye West in the crown of thorns like Jesus, and it was right after the whole Mel Gibson anti-Semitic thing. This is like the biggest celebrity anti-Semitic thing since Mel Gibson. Now it's Kanye West. They foreshadowed it all those years ago when he was new on the scene.
Well, this is such a well for those who don't see it, this is such it was so well planned, because he's banned from Twitter. They block his Instagram, and it's kind of like fooling a lot of people. Like, oh, he's actually getting canceled. Meanwhile, it's just part of their scheme, you know?
Well, through the whole thing, if you have a brain, you can see how fake it all is. Kanye West was said to be a billionaire. Well, he was never a billionaire, right? He was a billionaire based on projections with his supposed deals that were... I mean, since when do we say someone's a billionaire when their billions are based on a decade projection of how much they're going to make from Adidas? I mean, since when? It just shows you how fake the whole thing is.
Yeah, man. All right, Zach. Thank you so much. I don't want to hold up. Thank you so much, man. Thanks.
Yeah. No problem, man. You're welcome. Take care. Yeah, you guys, I mean, LAF, I don't know what to say about that person. I've let them hang around for a long time because it seems like they mean well, but they leave like really dumb comments all the time. It's like the only time I can make out what they're saying is when they're talking some serious shit. And normally they're just like spamming away comments that are completely incomprehensible. I heard that Charmed One likes her a lot, so that's kind of actually why I've let her hang around. But I'm like, how can you, like, you guys must speak a different language. What's up, 860?
Hey, Zach. I just had a question. How big are you? Are you like a 6 or a 7? You seem like a 6.
I didn't even hear what your question is, but what are you saying?
How big are you? Are you 6 or a 7?
Oh, okay, you're trolling. All right, funny questions. Female trolls? That wasn't LAF again, was it? God, has LAF been a troll the whole time? So, it would make sense if they have been, because their comments have just always been like, what? Anyway, I think these calls are a sign that it's near the end of the show, so... We've had a nice, long, healthy stream, and yeah, sorry guys, I meant to stream on Friday, but instead I was dealing with the sewer backing up into the house, which was gross. And it was the city that had to come out and clear they pulled the manhole out here, and then they brought this truck and stuck this thing down and were shooting water or something. But he said that somehow rocks had blocked the line in the sewer to my house. Like, God, I hope somebody didn't do that on purpose. Went down in the manhole and put rocks up against the sewer thing? How does that even happen? Hey, LAF, it's been nice knowing you. Adios. Yeah, we're going to say goodbye to LAF from this point on. I gave them the benefit of the doubt for like 9 months. So, adios. Yeah. Because it's not a good look. It's like, and that's the thing that drives me nuts too. It's like everybody's getting their comments blocked and deleted by Google. So you'll go to my video and it'll show that there's like 15 comments, which sucks. And then you look and there's only like 5 there, and 3 of them are from LAF, and you can't make sense of any of them. And you're like, great, it looks like the only people that are here are mentally ill people. What's up, D26?
Well, I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. What's going on? You get some rest?
Yeah, I did finally get some rest. I had 12 hours of sleep finally, and I also went to the hospital and met my grandpa. The surgery was good.
That's good.
Far, and hopefully he will be fine. They are saying that they will monitor him for at least 96 hours, so that's 4 days. Hopefully he will be fine. But it was a big operation that even the hospital, which I told you that it's a big hospital. The doctors say that they get this kind of a case once in few years, like once in 2-3 years. So it's kind of a rare case. And anyways, things are good. Hopefully now it's the time of recovery for him. And anyways, I've also completed my painting, so I've also share that in a day or two. The other thing about decoding, I probably missed in our last call, the one which I extended very much longer. I expected to be talking about like 30 minutes, but I ranted for like 90 minutes. The last time when I called you, about probably a week ago.
Sure.
I forgot to mention one point, which was about the seal crowd crush.
What car crash?
Did you get that?
What car crash?
Not a car crash, it's a crowd crush. So they were not calling it as a stampede in Seoul, but they were calling it as a crowd crush.
Okay.
And if you write, you know what, I'll just share that tweet as well. They were calling it as Seoul crowd crush, and that equals to 01. And it was in all of the headings. Probably in a couple of days after when I was just looking, I did a Google search, and I wrote it as South Korea Stampede, and all the top suggestions that came up to me, 3 or 4 of them, they were all about Seoul crowd crush. None of the articles were calling it as a stampede, and that was kind of a curious. I was curious about that, and then I just looked up to it, and it came to be a 201. I will share that tweet in a minute or two. And the other thing is, remember when I told you about Pope Benedict, that he might die somewhere around January of next year?
Right.
It's interesting that January 14th is the 96 days before his papacy began, and 93 days before his birthday, which is April 16. And he broke the record of the oldest living pope at age 93. So 93 days before his birthday. And not to mention that he was 93 years, 4 months and 16 days. 4 months and 16 days, like 416. His birthday is 416. Anyway, another thing about 114 is that it's also related to the Jesuits, the superior generals. So did you know, long ago I made this point that it's only been once that 3 superior generals were alive at one point of time, and that was from October 14 to November 26, 2016.
Okay, interesting.
So October 14 can be expressed as 1014, like 114, if you knock out the zeros.
Okay.
And my very first decode about Human, it's a web series called Human, that was released on January 14th in this year, January 14th, and it is all about the medical fiasco, or should I say the medical conspiracy about COVID. sorry to mention that word, I should have not said that, but anyways, about all the medical tyranny that is happening in this last 2 years is explained, is shown in that movie, in that web series, and it's also very much obvious. I pointed out about 6 201s in that series in my first in-depth decode about any web series or something like that. And even the trailer was 2 minutes and 1 second. So the 114, it was released, as I said, it was released on January 14th. That is the birthday of the CEO of Serum Institute of India. That is the largest vaccine manufacturer by volume. And his name, Adar Poonawalla, is 1229 in the Jewish cipher, and which is 201st prime. And he's a buddy with Mr. Gates, Billy the Boy. He's a friend with Billy Boy. And his father was the founder of the company. But again, it's a famous place. And the place where it is located, the Serum Institute of India, it's in the second most famous city after Mumbai in the state. It's called Pune, and Pune, Maharashtra, India. If you just write the city, state, and country, that is a 201. If you just write the name of the city, Pune, that's a 56. And it's one of the ancient cities. Like it's an old city, and I do think I forgot the name of the British official or something like that. But it's a famous place even with the British during the time of the British. So there is some influence of the Christian community over there. It's not the Christian community, but settlers over there. It's not. It wouldn't be a surprise for me if there was a Jesuit influence over there in that part of the region. But there's of course Jesuit influence in the major cities. I've explained that in the past. And just to give one more example, probably not related to this, but just to remind the audience and you as well, is the founder, or should I say the benefactor of the Yale University, Elihu Yale, was a puppet, or should I not say a puppet, but a high-ranking official working for the British East India Company. And he was the president of the Madras Presidency, which is basically the Madras state right now. At that time it was a Madras state, but right now Madras is the old name for the city of Chennai, where Sundar Pichai is from, and Sundar Pichai is 201. And again, that place, it's the most developed city in South, one of the most developed city in South today. And even back in the time of the British, it was an important city of trade and all that stuff. So a lot of the money of Elihu Yale, his wealth came out from India. But at the time of the construction of the Yale College, it is believed that a lot of black money, or should I say the stolen wealth from India, was sent to America basically what it's called, money laundering. That's what it's called, I guess. All of the loot was taken up from India and used in making universities and colleges, more in the West than in Europe. I guess that's the rumor. That's kind of like an open secret. It's not confirmed or something like that. But yeah, that's what a lot of people over here believe. It's an unconventional historical idea, but anyways. And other thing, just last point, I would give this a shout out again. I also mentioned this in my live stream yesterday, that do watch the Netflix, it's a short web series called Ancient Apocalypse. Again, it's presented by Graham Hancock, and I talked about him several times in the last few months. I'm reading his book from 1995, and if people are not interested in the book, because the book is it's overwhelming, it's 500, 600 pages long, and all of his books are more than a few hundred pages long. The shortest book probably he has written is probably 500 pages. So if you're not into that book reading, but I would highly suggest if you could try, do watch the Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix. That's a really good series. But anything other than that, I'm not able to recall any other point which I had to make, but yeah, if there's something I would probably tweet it, and nothing I can think of anything. But do you have anything? Do you want to like ask anything or something like that? Sorry if I was trying over you. I'm not.
Oh no, I'm just listening to your thoughts.
Lag over here. I guess there's a lag.
No, things like this, so I'll have to check it out.
Even I like all these things. Anything like Indiana Jones style. I like those things.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, and I don't think anything else, but yeah, I'm thinking about the next. As I talked about yesterday in my pre-stream as well, that the next video will be about 2611. I need to just think. The one possibility that I'm expecting in, I don't really expect a lot from my content, but from this video that I'm expecting is that since it's Indian centric, I hope that it gets viral, because this is something that I heard from a lot of YouTubers out of India, like people from YouTubers from Australia and Europe and America, is that they all say, and it's a trend that they noticed, that it is easy to get views in a populated country, and there's only one populated country in the world of YouTube, that is India, because China does not have YouTube, they don't have Google. So it's mostly the Asian countries that get a lot of views compared to the Western world. So hopefully this video gets, the one which I'm creating, that gets viral, at least in terms of views. Because talking about censorship, because you mentioned about censorship in this live stream, Rambo is also one who's a victim of that, because I noticed a lot of his subscribers, it's not rising after he surpassed like 6,000 subscribers. I have seen that as like constant. He's not rising further than that, and he's uploading more videos and better videos than I am producing. It's something like that I noticed. So yeah, everyone is a kind of a victim of censorship in one form or the other. I mentioned to you, Zach, about over a message. I texted you about my video which was taken down. It was taken down after 201 views. And you also asked me at that time, do you think it is kind of a... You did ask me that, do I think if it was done by someone or it was just like a random algorithm took it down, something like that. And I still think it was probably... it could be both. It's just that they can keep these people, let's say you hire a group of people and they just say, okay, monitor this channel, and if they put something like that, take the video after some views, they can think of something like scheduling a tweet. So you can say that it's half by yourself and half done by Twitter, because you have just scheduled the date and time, and whatever you've written, it will be automatically tweeted at that point of time. It's kind of like, I would say it's both of those things. But yeah, when it comes to censorship, they would find different ways to censor things on the internet right now. Just the other day, I found out, I don't know if you noticed, probably I thought you would be the first one to notice. They have changed the Wikipedia page for Ignatius a little bit. They have changed some of his phrases from the previous dates. Like, I still remember checking his page a couple of years ago. That page is completely different from now. And I regret that I did not take a screenshot of the old Wikipedia page of Ignatius. They had the little... those are minute differences. If you had not read it before, you would not find it. Something like that. I don't know if you noticed that thing. That they changed the page of Ignatius.
They changed the date for what about Ignatius Loyola?
They changed the page of Wikipedia page, his first home page of Wikipedia of Ignatius. The first 2 or 3 paragraphs.
Oh, yeah, Wikipedia is always changing everything. So.
Yeah. And I'll go again, a new update. They also changed the date for the number of students in Yale College, the number of Yale graduates in the year 1968.
Right. It used to be 9/11.
Early it was 9/11, then it was 910, and then it was 907. Right now it's 907. Last I checked, like a week ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
They changed it twice. And 907, if in numerology it's 97, like Poseidon is 97, and who holds the trident.
Right. Yeah.
And I wouldn't say go with the trident, but I just want to mention, because a lot of people, I don't know, I guess that is the point. When I was talking about trident in my video, there was a small glitch. I would repeat that part again in my stream, that on 26th of November 2008, there was an attack in Mumbai. Again, it was most likely a false flag attack. I know a lot of people would not believe I probably would be targeted for real for this thing. It's kind of a serious target for exposing this stuff. But all in all, in short, what happened is a couple of the terrorists went to a hotel. They hijacked, they had hostages, and they were in, I don't know which floor they were, but I need to double check. But they were hiding in Hotel Trident. And that's an interesting thing, because that is 35 floors, and it happened on the day leaving 35 days left in the year. A lot of other things equal 35, at least like in terms of places in Mumbai where these terrorists were being to. But one interesting thing is that the hospital where they attacked, where the couple of terrorists attacked, they also attacked on a hospital. That was right next to a Jesuit college, opposite to Jesuit college. I forgot that place. I've been to that place. I've been to that street. Never been to the college. One of my neighbor, probably a friend, one of my neighbors in that college. Never talked to her about the Jesuits or whatever research that we do, but obviously she won't get it. Most people of my age are not really into this. It's usually the people who are a little bit older to me, or people in their middle ages. They're more accepting this knowledge, at least, because as I said, if it's nothing Indian centric, people are not ready to listen, and that is why I need to look into sports, but I'm not really in the mood of sports decode. But I did decode one thing about Queen's death. It was with the Indian Premier League. The captain of the England's team, Josh Butler, who lost the team that he was playing in for, Rajasthan Royals. He was playing it for the Royals, and that team lost in the Indian Premier League finals this year, and that was on 29th of May, the same day the Indian singer Moosewala died in the morning, and the match was in the evening. And the birthday of the English cricket team captain, Josh Butler, his birthday is on September 8th, which is when the Queen died. So there is a lot of other things, like his name equals 89, his surname equals 98, all that stuff. India equals 98. But there are other things I would look into that. But I won't go further levels, or else I would just blabber for like more 20 minutes. But, thanks for taking up my calls, and great work as always. I need to lick this entire stream. So all these conversations are really good. I missed it because I was looking into something else. I was researching some other things.
All right. Appreciate it, D26. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
All right.
And I also want to mention, I just want to mention one last thing. Sorry to cut you off. I wouldn't ask for anything, any help. That's all. It's kind of like procrastination. But I do want to make an announcement, because I do have, and thanks for Zach, because you have a better platform. That I do have PayPal. If anyone wants to support anything, because I got that PayPal a month ago, probably, or a little over than a month ago, on Diwali, because that's when I visited you. That's when we had the call a month ago. And if anyone wants to support, I do have a PayPal. I will drop in all of my comments. I'm just going to add that link in all of my description videos.
Yeah, put it in the description of your video. So D26 creates, you guys. He's doing really great work. If you have not checked out his channel, his video on 9/11 is the best Gematria video on 9/11 out there, just the way it's done. And he's got a lot of other great videos too. But yeah, just go back and plug it in the description where people can support you for doing the work. So.
And if anyone on TikTok has a decent following, and if they want to try with anything about with Gematria content, do hit me up. I will give you the original video, like a good quality video of my YouTube shorts, because I want those shorts to go viral, but it's difficult because TikTok is banned in India. Even if I make use a VPN, that would put me in trouble again. So I don't want to do all that stuff, I think. But if anyone has a good, decent following, they can even take you can download my YouTube shorts from a third-party website as well. But yeah, do look into that. And if you have good, points to add in my, what things can I improve? Because I do remember in my first YouTube short, people did complain about the font, and I knew it, but all in that hurry, I just used whatever font that I thought would be nice, but that was not a good idea, not a good decision. So people commented on my first YouTube short, which was about Ignatius, and I corrected my mistake, and the next video had a better font, like a much more readable, and I would also look into the different formats, because I don't know about TikTok, but the one which I'm using right now is I'm making videos for TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reel. And I'm not sure should I share my Instagram or not, but if I do, I will let you guys know on Twitter. So do follow me on Twitter, because that's where I'm active the most, as well as on the new website that Zach has created, GematriaEffectNews on Mighty Networks. So yeah, shout out to Zach and thanks to Zach, because you have created the platform for us.
Indeed. Yeah, you guys follow D26. He does really great work. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right. Yeah, have a good night.
Yep. Thanks.
Take it. Well, where he is, it actually might be a good day. He's in a whole other part of the world. Okay, New York and LA were blowing up the phone while he was on, so I'm going to wait for both of you because you are both calling so much. There must be something desperately urgent that you both want to share. So New York and LA, the phone's open now. Will they call? All right, New York's first. What's up, New York? Well, I answer and then they hang up. Weird. Okay. We can talk more about the worth of Gematria in sports while we wait for them to call back. So notice, the Clippers were an underdog today at home against the Pacers. They dropped the Pacers to 11-8 and 4-4 on the road. Clippers equals 118 and 44. We'll talk more about these other games here. 213, you're on.
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to say that I've been listening to you since 2017, right?
Uh-huh.
And keep doing what you're doing, man. I 100% support you. You ready for the fight? We will take this fight to them physically. So just keep doing what you're doing. 100% love for me, you heard?
I appreciate that.
All right, no doubt.
All right, thanks, man. You have a good day.
All right, you too.
See. Fitting, we get the call from LA. Again, you see how it right in Gematria, the most pure cipher. Clippers 44, also 118. We call LA the 118 city. And again, they were an underdog at home today. Knocked the Pacers down to 11-8 and 4-4 away, just like that. 347.
Hello?
Hello.
Zach, how are you? How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
It wasn't something like extremely important. I'm sorry for blowing up your phone, but I did wanted to address something before the caller that you said on your comments, and a lot of people don't get it and stuff like that. Zach, I wanted to say just one thing is that not everybody has the mental capacity to digest the work that you guys are doing. A lot of people, so for some people, it's very, very, it could be a lot.
You know, a lot of people that I have mentioned, like I have given your channel to, they have said, hey, I can't take it. I get to my friend started watching your thing. He went crazy for a whole week. All he was trying to do was decode. And like I said, not everybody has the mental capacity. So that's why you see some people that are actually, like, in the chat, it was saying that LAF, whatever, was high and stuff like that. I'm not defending anybody, but we could also agree on that. It's so much information being thrown at you that I believe that sometimes it could be a little bit overworked. It could be a little bit too much. You understand? You know where I'm going with this? Like, I just want to, like, mental health is real. And the work that you're doing is, it takes a very strong level of mental capacity, period, to digest all of this, you know?
Well, again, a lot of people have made that point, and yeah, that might be true. I mean, to me, it's all really simple and elementary and so in your face.
So long, Zach. You've been doing it for so long, for years.
But it was elementary from the beginning. So from the beginning, it was elementary. It was just like, why do they keep telling you that Adam Lanza weighs 112 pounds? Does that matter to you that Adam Lanza weighs 112 pounds? Where does it matter that he weighs 112 pounds? Why are they telling you that? Why was there a national emergency on 9/11? Isn't that so obvious, America? We know 911's the emergency dialing code. Isn't it funny that if you just take the alphabetic order, Sandy Hook equals 112, and it's the alt dialing code for 911, and it caused an emergency with parents? Like, to me, it's like I can explain that to little kids, and they'll get it. So...
And they'll get it, but then it's behind it. The heavy load was behind it. Can I look at that? I told them about the 9/11. How come it happened 9/11? 9/11 is the emergency on code, the number you call. And they say, well, they don't want to go deep into it because they know what could be on cover. So a lot of the time, I just like try to be a little lenient myself with people who I'm trying to explain like how this works and follow this person, because not everybody is willing to take it, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if everybody wake up and just start? You literally know that there could be mayhem of people that just be like, yo, being lied in front of our face for the end of time, since the beginning of time, sorry. So it's just like, I try to, for you, of course, it might come easy, and you've been seeing it since, you know, elementary. But not everybody has the same level of mentality to digest this thing. I sometimes have to take a break because it becomes so much. Sometimes I got to take a break, and I start decoding even events in my life. And I'm like, yo, look at the organic side. But I try to step away for a few days and come back because it could be overwhelmed. That's what I'm trying to say. It could be very, very overwhelmed, you know?
Yeah, I understand that happens to people, but... to me, I'm just going to keep looking at... Again, I don't know if you know my MO. I'm just trying not to say the things that I normally say. But, yeah, I just think people get overwhelmed easily because we've been made to be so dumb. I think that's the real problem, is just people are too stupid to do little simple things that a first grader should be able to do. Everything that I teach her should be understood by someone who's 6-7 years old. So...
Right. Well, thank you, Zach. Keep doing the good work. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Take care, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do hear what he's saying, but yeah, again, it's just like, I don't have a lot of sympathy for how dumb people are. And again, I mean, it's just simple, you know, like I got people calling in and complaining about sports information. Well, hey, I could have said thank you because I told you the Heat were the value game of the day and looked like Lock City. Heat were a big underdog today, and sure enough, they get the W. And why did I like the Heat so much on the 27th, getting to 2-7 away as they dropped the Hawks to 7-4 at home? Again, that most pure cipher. Miami is 27. That matters. But you want to look at all four base ciphers, and this number's been playing with the Heat games this year, 74. It's also been a perfect number this year with the Heat. The Hawks fall to, and notice the Hawks were 7-3 at home before that. They were 7-3 at home. Now they become 7-4 as Miami gets to 2-7 away on the 27th. That game puts fat stacks in your pocket because they're a big dog. And, you know, Clippers, again, when you have two of the ciphers lining up in the record for a team, that's coming through. So 11-8 and 4-4. Now again, it's so out of these games, I also leaned on the Nets winning this morning. The Blazers became 11-9 in Brooklyn, New York, and the coach, who's now Chauncey Billups. I used to like watching Chauncey Billups play. Now he's the coach of the Blazers. But Chauncey Billups picked up his 64th loss as a head coach today against the Brooklyn Nets. It would have been even stronger if it was in the more pure cipher, but we've seen 64 play with the Nets games this year too, and that's why I've been documenting every day. So he picks up the 64th loss. And notice how they write the location in the corner of every game. You do it just the same way ESPN does. Brooklyn, NY, 119. In that same cipher, so is New Jersey, the old home of the Nets. And what did the record become of the Blazers today? 11-9. Now, out of these 4 games that are in, I like the Heat a lot. I like the Clippers a lot. Both dogs with big value. I favored the Nets. I did write there was a risk there with the Blazers. The game I got wrong this morning was Warriors-Timberwolves. And I thought the Warriors might fall to 1-10 away because 110 does play in Minnesota, like 1-10, like Minnesota 110. And that's why it's not a perfect science. But still, hey, if you hit on 2 nice big dogs and you've hit 3 out of your 4 bets that are in today and you took the 2 games that I really liked in the NFL, you've hit 5 out of 6 games today. And again, I'm putting out information like this day after day. I'm putting out winning information every single day. I'm charging $5 a month. Hardly anyone's piling into the community as they should be and taking advantage of this and changing their position in life like others have. But that's frustrating too, because it's just like, man, put out so much good information for such a low price. And again, I'm hearing from people like, oh, Zach, I want to come out to New York, but I don't have any money. Zach, I got to come out to New York, but I got to work. Well, hey, let's take the example of Victor. Victor met a sweet lady in the community, relocated from New York to London, now making a killing off of this, brought his whole family out to New York City for 9/11. Again, I'm trying to build up people like Victor. You know, people just want to make excuses. So, and I've never seen a super chat get blocked before. All right, so don't block the super chatters. The Laughing Sailor says, hey, do you have a script for the World Cup finals and the winner thereof? Could you please explain it here? Love your work. I don't know how his last comment got blocked. I did put out, listen, the World Cup is not my favorite thing because I don't follow international football, but I did put out a lot of notes for all of the teams before the World Cup began. And there were 2 teams, if you read those notes, that had the best narratives, in my opinion. I didn't even look at Brazil. I won't be shocked if Brazil wins who's the favorite, but there's no fun in betting on the favorite. But there's 2 teams other than Brazil who I wrote a lot about, who have a great narrative, who have good value. So, yeah, and that information's on the Patreon page. Again, you pay that $5 a month, you get everything. You get the football, the NBA, you know. My college football season was very forgettable. We'll see. I might end up hitting my future championship still, but this is the worst college football season I've had in forever. Anyway. Yeah, be careful that you're not blocking people's super chats. I'm guessing he was trying to like click on it and like make it like show up on the screen or something. I doubt he tried to block it, but yeah, accidents happen. But yeah, I did put out information for the World Cup. It is on the Patreon page. And again, the Patreon's linked in the description of every video. Patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard. But yeah, you guys, I mean, the knowledge is real. It proves itself every single day. And I mean, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. So, I mean, you guys have all heard me talk about LA, the 118 city, and how even Clippers equals 118. Here's the latest example of it. Now, realize that the Clippers thing, it's come up 3 times in like the last week and a half, and it hit in 2 out of 3. The other night, Denver could have fallen to 11-8, but instead they became 12-7, and that's because Denver. The reason it didn't go that way is Denver equals 31. 12-7 is like 127, the 31st prime. So that's where you got to know your numbers and your prime number relationships and be like, you know, this was a stronger riddle today because it hit in 2 categories, 118 and 44. All right, Truth Seeker. It's been a good long stream. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who supports the work. And again, you guys, you can either be excuse makers or you can try and improve your position in life and, you know, become part of the people that aren't just learning the work. They're teaching it themselves. They're improving upon it. And again, for all the trolls that just watch all my stuff and then just talk trash and never come on the stream, I mean, I've invited you guys on, you know. You guys are making videos about what a loser and a coward I am, but then you don't come on when I invite you to come on. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, you guys know this guy, Joseph Aquaviva? He says he's a Christian who's proved that I'm a Freemason shill. And it's like, again, I left him a pretty nice comment the other day, and I said, why don't you come on my show and explain why you make all these videos attacking me when you learn from me and then use the knowledge that I put out to attack me, you know? Again, I mean, people wonder why I'm not a Christian. It's because my whole life, the people who've called themselves Christians have been the biggest losers in my life, the biggest hypocrites, the biggest full of shit people, the biggest people who use Christianity as some kind of label to justify their negative behavior. And again, I mean, it's just like a guy like that. You know, he had other people respond to it and say, yeah, you should go on. And then he just deletes the whole comment. And then he's making videos saying I'm a coward too. It's like, I'm a coward. I invited you on my platform. You never show up. You just keep making videos about me. So. All right, if you just tuned in, the good news is you can rewind the video. It's a nice long stream, and you'll have plenty to watch tonight. Oh, hold on. No caller ID. Who knows? Maybe it's him right here on no caller ID. Let's check. Is it one of the critics? No caller ID. No caller ID, you're on. No caller ID. Give you a minute to catch your breath. Okay.
Hello?
Oh, you're on. There you go. You're on.
I know. What? Is it Domino's?
Is it Domino's? It's Pizza Hut. These are my trolls, man. It's so annoying. God, I mean, can't you do a better troll call than that? Come on, man. All that for, is it Domino's? Hang up. Come on. Yeah, man. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, that was corny, man. That was corny. That was such a weak. I don't mind if somebody calls into trolling that's actually funny. But that was not. Anyway, we'll leave it there, you guys. Have a great rest of your evening or day. And it's getting almost dinner time out here. It's that time of the year where the sun sets real early. Exactly. And by the way, don't support any of these you guys, if you're gonna like order, hey, here, let me give you one more tip before I get off. Something you can do in your own community to keep more wealth in your community and help out like real people in your community. I mean, there are normal people who work at Pizza Hut and Domino's, but the thing is, those corporations, man, they siphon that money and then it goes up to some big HQ that's not in your town. Meanwhile, in your town, there's probably a local pizza shop. And if you eat there, pretty much all that money is going to stay in your community. And you might be like, well, man, I'd like to eat at that pizza shop, but they charge like $30 for the pizza, and I can get a whole pizza at Domino's or Pizza Hut for $10. I hear that, but my other tip is, man, start making food at your home. If it's all about saving money, just eat at your home. You'll save even more money. So make your own meals, know what's in your food, save money, be healthier. I do want to do another live stream on food and nutrition soon. I do want to do that. I want to have this great debate from all the different diets. Yeah, because there are just so many different thoughts and ideas out there, but I think there are some things that are tried and true and undeniable when it comes to diet. So we'll save it for next time. And until next time, True Seeker.